Hello and welcome to Drop Frames. I'm joined by Cohh and mysterious night traveler Zeke. Zeke.
You said it was my turn. I had to dress up as a knight. You didn't tell me which knight to be, so I just picked a knight and I'm dressed up as a knight. That's what you said. You said you have to dress up as a knight for this podcast, and now I'm doing it. Why do you look disappointed? This took literal minutes to put together.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Is this not what we wanted?
It's great. It's great, you know.
Okay, fine.
It is what it is, Zeke. It is.
And you see, that's why I didn't do the full suit of armor, because that joke was very small and it ran its course, and now we're ready to go.
Excellent. Did you get it out of your
Buying
system?
a full suit of armor for a 30-second joke dn't seem like, economically responsible.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe not. How are you guys doing, Cohh? What's going on with you?
Bless his heart. I am very excited for today. Yeah, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, short and sweet.
That's what's going on.
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Zeke, everything? Are you good? What are you okay? Did you overheat with the massive green screen gown on?
No, I'm great. I'm doing excellent.
Okay.
Thank you for asking, JP. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. If I'm honest, I'm a little nervous, less because the interview, but more because of things that'll be happening at the show, if that makes sense. But we'll get to that all a little bit later. Let's bring on our guest, because I think that's why everyone's here. I love that he joined the call. I don't think you guys could see this. I don't know if he thought anyone could ever see this, with the username The Dark Urge. That's how our guest today from Larian Studios, Swen The Dark Urge. How's it going, sir? Welcome to Drop Frame. Welcome back, I should say, to Drop Frames. It's been 2 years since we've spoken.
It's been 2 years indeed. Hello, all of you. How are you doing?
We're doing well. We're doing well. But
it is awesome to see you. Real quick, just to start the show off on the right foot, Reynolds had a question. If a halfling gets a game over screen if it sleeps with Halcyon in bear form, the floor is yours.
We need to hire them as a writer.
I think that's a good place to start. Jokes aside, like the past month, it's been bears. Bears are all the rage. Swen, like, did you expect that to go public when it did, and how it did, and like, how are you guys writing the like marketing aspect of the fact that you can have some extracurricular activities with bears and maybe other things in your game? Like, how is that? How did that come to be?
Oh, it's many questions all in one. So it certainly blew up much bigger than we expected. We didn't expect it to go this large. As how did it come to be? Very natural, to be honest. If you know the character,
Nice.
Halcyon, who's a druid in the game, he's been around for many hundreds of years. So he's seen things, he's done things. He can wild shape, so he's been spending time with wolves and with bears and what have you. So he talks about it very openly, and so he becomes a companion later in the game if you do certain things for him. But he's very open-minded. So he, in this particular scene, basically says, "Well, we've been interested in one another, and you can see what happens, right? I mean, like he turns into a bear, holds himself back, and then it's up to you what you do." And then the cinematic team did a really good scene around it, because I have the little squirrel that comes in, which makes it like funny as it was intended to be.
Sure.
We picked that scene because it showed a lot of things at the same time. It showed deep characters with a lot of background. It showed you good cinematics. It showed you humor. It showed you a number of things that you would not expect from the game, that gives you choices even at moments like that. So it shows lots of aspects that make BG3 the game that it is, and so that's why we liked it, and it did a really good job actually.
Yeah, I mean
to say.
it took over social media. I didn't expect to see that many bears.
It not only took over social media. What was so interesting about that scene is all of a sudden Baldur's Gate was popping up in mediums on websites that, you know, Baldur's Gate 3 probably never would be on, but now it's like this thing happened in it. Let's all talk about it. And all of a sudden you're seeing it everywhere, which
Yeah.
was very cool to see as a big fan of the game. And what's even wilder about it is I'd say 99% of everything seen was just positive, just like, this is hilarious, look at this. And then that would lead to the inevitable, like, players can really do this, like, what else can they do? And that would kind of, you know, it's been a very interesting public discourse on that, for sure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's literally it, right? So it's what it intended to show. This game allows you to do much more than you expect, and it rewards you visually in ways that you do not expect. And so, it does a lot. There's a lot of scenes we could have picked. So this was one, but there's a lot of stuff that we could have picked.
Yeah. Did you guys expect it to, like, because I'm sure not only the social media presence, but I'm sure internally, like, sales shot up with that, with everything with that. Did you expect that? Or are you just like, this is going to be a good way to show exactly what you just said, how big and how many things you could do in the game?
This is a very hard question because you don't know what the different permutations look like. We always expected BG3 to rise back into the charts as we got closer to release because we had a lot of wish lists. We also know what we made. We're very proud of what we made, so we think it's a very good game. So people will start talking about it, and so inevitably, hopefully, that should lead to a picked up interest in the game.
Sure.
So the bear certainly helped. Because it's like we gave them an extra booster, let's put it that way. But I would like to think that it's also because of all the other stuff that we've shown, all the gameplay that we've shown to people. There's a lot more. We had this little press event. There was a bunch of people that came there. They walked out, changed persons. They didn't expect it to be this extensive a game with that much depth and production quality, really. So we heard that a lot from people that were there. Maybe it's because we fed them and gave them drinks and whatever. But I obviously I tend to agree with them.
Sure. You're a little over 10-ish days now. Cohh, what's the official countdown? How many days?
11 days.
11 days. Thank you.
Hold on, let me check my Twitter.
Yeah, go to your
yes, 11 days.
11 days till Baldur's Gate.
Actually, that brings up the question. 11 days and what time of day?
Oh,
perhaps?
I was going to say that's one of the first questions that was one of the
That's
most
true.
asked from the community is do we know a time at which we will be able to play on the 3rd?
So we wanted to do it very early in your morning, but Steam asked us to do it later, early in their morning, so that they could give the proper support. So it's going to be probably 10 o'clock in the morning.
Pacific?
Pacific, indeed.
Okay.
So that's a standard 1 p.m. ET.
Yeah,
Steam
exactly.
Okay.
This time, actually, now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly.
On the 3rd.
So it might still change, but I mean, like, I think they want to be around. Last time Steam crashed when the game launched. It's very big also. It's a very large game, so you need quite a lot of install. So there's going to be a lot of bytes traveling through the internet, I guess.
Sure.
That's still a thing.
How are you guys doing, and how's the team doing? Like, are you ready? Is this the like quiet calm before the storm? Like, where is everyone's and yours head and mind at with all of this?
Yeah, we're doing the last fixes, last little bits that are being done, but it's very quiet here. I'm in the office in the Belgium studio, and there's 2 of us here. No, 3 of us, sorry. So it's not a very spacious office just before release. So it's done essentially. There's obviously still bugs that we're chasing. We're playing a lot. So as we're doing these playthroughs, we discover things and then we do the small tweaks. But it's literally today, actually. So probably already happened. They locked the build. So
you're essentially gold.
Yeah, that's gold, right?
If that's not a thing anymore, it doesn't exist.
The new age gold, I guess.
Well, we still reserve the right to make some changes during the week. So we had this plan. So this week is still for like whatever must fix that pops up or a high priority thing that still pops up. Because every single time when you do, we call these massive integrates, there's always something that can go wrong. So we are now going to check if something went wrong or not, and then we'll fix that up. But yeah, we're very close to finishing. So hopefully everything goes well. No major disaster happens. We've had a few already, so we'll see.
Sure.
When you said something about the download stuff, how much, like, is there an amount you can preload before the actual, like, button is pushed?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I'm not going to answer it because I actually don't know what they've planned for it.
Sure.
Totally fine.
But I imagine that they're going to do something, but I actually don't know. It's very large, so it would be cool. There's obviously the game has changed tremendously versus early access versus what's out there now. Quite heavily so.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will see.
And this is probably again in the unknown category, but players that have access right now, it's not advantageous to install and download what we can already. I'm assuming it's going to be a whole new thing for release.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be. I assume that because everything's compressed, and so that compression, there's not going to be a lot of. There might be a few bytes that are the same, but I basically it's going to be a full reinstall.
Makes sense. You guys, you said earlier that you and the team have finished playthroughs, and I know you even tweeted about finishing a playthrough recently. Can you say like what you were playing, what class, what race, what path you took potentially?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've been doing multiple permutations with cheats, so that means that I skip over certain things because it's just to see if everything holds together. Today, I just before the show, an hour before, I finished an Evil Dark Urge run where I had Lysel with me. Who's our Githyanki warrior. I had one of our new companions, Mintara, with me. I had Shadowheart, Evil Shadowheart, I have to say, with me also. And who's my third one that I did? I can't think of it now. I've been playing with them the entire time. Shadowheart, Lysel, Mintara. No, and Dark Urge. No, that's it. That's the fourth. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And what class were you playing on, like, your character?
Druid.
Okay.
I wanted to test wild shape in all kinds of forms and see what was going to go wrong with it. So I forgot that this is the game in which you can turn into a Rothe, which is like a kind of an underdark cow, and have a conversation with another cow. Or you can be a cat that can talk to a rat. And so I intimidated rats. And so it was a lot of fun.
Very evil. That's extremely evil stuff there.
I am not going to spoil it, but I did some pretty gruesome stuff. Yeah, I really did some really, really bad stuff. I actually went full evil, as dark as I could. So I went very dark. Yeah.
Interesting. Right.
I
saw.
Yeah, I'm also the new ruler of the Forgotten Realms, by the way. So you may say, sir.
Okay. Sorry, I apologize, sir.
Apologies, sir. Yeah.
There. Speaking of evil, random tangent. There's on Livestream Fells. It's a popular like streamer subreddit. The number one clip right now is Soda Poppin' kicking a squirrel and killing the squirrel in Act 1. So the clips are already, you're already getting all that stuff out there. It's already starting.
Yeah, that's a very Dark Urge thing.
Yeah. It's happening. Cohh, Zeke, I don't want to dominate the questions by all means, so feel free to jump in with anything you guys have.
Sure. Well, I have like a list of community questions. So Zeke, did you have anything specific that you wanted to ask?
Nope. Go ahead, Cohh. Your turn.
Awesome. Okay.
Dig in.
So over the last couple of days, we've been collecting all sorts of great questions from all over the gambit. As usual, if any of these questions are spoilery in your opinion or you just can't answer them, feel free. No big deal. First is from a fellow streamer, Dan's Gaming. And he said, how much will our class and race affect the story and quests in the world? I know it's kind of an open-ended question, but just kind of in your own words, how would you say that would affect it?
I find it quite amazing, actually, how much it does. So I have this... Well, I mean, like there was a run that really I thought it was really amazing is when I played a Give Druid, and that's because there's a lot of Druid reactivity, a lot of Give reactivity in certain sections of the game, and it was really very different from the previous run where I had not played as that. So I'm not going to say or claim that for every single permutation you're going to have these big things, but there are ones where you're going to really say, "Oh wow, that is really different because I am." Of this race, or I am of this class. It really lets you, play to the role in a lot of ways. We had a team that's been busy in the last year specifically. We call it the tag reactivity team. So they just went through all of the content and they just said, okay, well, what can we do for each class, each race to augment the feeling that you are that race and class in that specific situation, right? And so they did a lot of stuff that I hadn't seen yet. So I've only really been seeing it in the last couple of months playing through it. And I say, wow, okay, this was really good. This was I felt like a paladin. I felt like a druid. I felt like a sorcerer or a wizard here. And so it's fun. I would say that for the races, there it depends a little bit on which type of race. If you're Dragonborn or you're Gif or you're Drow, you will certainly have quite a lot of reactivity. If you're more of the normal races like Dwarves and Elves, then that's going to be more clustered in the same things. You will still get it. So it's asymmetric, but I think that's normal. But it does. It's not going to happen that you've played as a class or as a race and you have not felt like that had an impact on your gameplay. So that's for sure. There's really a lot of reactivity to class and race.
Cool.
Awesome.
I saw it pop up a ton of times in chat. It might even be in our questions that Cohh pulled here. People want to know if you can roll for stats. Like that's the number one thing out of the gate is no rolling for stats.
No, it's one of so we wanted to, but we cut it. The only reason we cut it was production reasons. So it's not that we thought it was a bad idea, but I mean, like we've been working on this game for a long time, and at some point we just said, okay, we stopped features and putting it in. That's one of the features that was cut at that time.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. That was definitely, I think, one of the ones that I saw that popped up the most. Cohh, you got any more? We'll wrap it.
Oh, absolutely. So from Reddit, a gentleman named Grunt5000 actually is planning on doing a big playthrough with his friends. And he's kind of new to these games. And he said, will my friends be able to contribute in conversations in co-op mode if they didn't initiate said conversation or interaction?
So the way that you can do that in this game is you can suggest what the others should be saying. So you get the option to suggest which question notes you want the other players to do. But the one that initiates the conversation is the driver of the conversation. So we don't have a big discussion system, dominantly because the number of permutations that would lead to would exploded infinitely. So we actually had that system in there for some time, but it was just not tenable. It was too much. So we did experiment with it. Especially because it's also a cinematic game, right? There are, but that said, there's a lot of moments where you have to make critical choices, and I'm sure if you're going to play it, you're going to have the same thing with your chat, where there's going to be a lot of discussion. And so in critical conversations, the entire party is dragged in, so you're aware of it. In other conversations, you can listen in, so you can always listen in. You can always see when somebody's talking. But in critical conversations, it's going to be like, well, and there's some really critical ones where it's a lot gets decided, and that changes the world tremendously, which can be good and bad for different party members. So you will be able to discuss with one another heavily.
Cool. And
never
just
talk to each other again.
For a little bit of just extra clarification, whoever initiates the conversations, all of the roles and checks in the conversation will be on that character, correct?
Yeah, but the others can contribute. For instance, if Shadowheart has guidance, she can aid in the role by giving a bonus on the guidance. So you get the yeah.
Cool. Makes sense.
Yeah,
Cool.
you can make the main character more smarter if you have the spell to do it.
Yes.
I know that.
Yeah.
It's correct. You can
Also, just a quick yes or no one. Brett Assassin on Twitter was wondering if you anticipate the game being Steam Deck verified at or at some point shortly after launch.
It's a really good question. We are actually trying. So we're there was a new version of Proton that came out. So Proton Experimental was just like yesterday, I think. So we're working on it. So we're trying to get it there. It might not be there on the day of release, but it's not very far off. So
awesome.
We're working. We got. Well, I mean, like literally was looking at it yesterday.
Cool. Great. You were talking with or answering Cohh just now in terms of talking with chat. Is there any plans for this? Is a very streamer centric question. Any plans for Twitch integration somewhere down the line?
There is.
Oh, there's
there's Twitch integration. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So,
I was not aware.
That's going to be upgraded and updated. on day of live. You
Was
can
not
also
aware.
switch off bear sex if you want. There's a button.
I'll hold you to that.
I'm wondering if there's going to be a category. Like, is that going to be
my.
a category on
So-
like the new category system? Like
Conversely-
excessive bear sex.
No, but realistically, is there also a toggle to only allow bear sex?
Well, that would require the three of you to play druids, pick bear as wild shape, and just stick around in the same area. I mean, pick a corner in the forest and just.
Hey, I'm down if you guys are.
Hey, you know what? We're all adults here. You know,
Sure.
We'll figure something
yeah,
out. Figure
yeah,
something
you
out.
know?
On a slightly more less bear sexy note, Cookie Knight on Twitter was wondering, how will multiclassing affect class-specific dialogue, particularly if you have the same level in multiple classes?
So in the dialogues, you get them all. So if you are a thief, if you're a rogue and you're a wizard, you get the options for rogue, and then you'll get the options for wizards in your dialogue.
Awesome.
So they'll
Just options.
attack.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You get extra options because you know them both, and that works pretty well actually.
Sweet.
Excellent.
Cool.
So this is a bit of a broader question, and this is one I'm very interested in too. Redditor Arc724 says, I'm very curious about the struggles they went through with 5E's resource attrition and rest systems and translating that into the game.
Yeah, it's we've been a little bit all over the place with that through the entire development, trying stuff out. We settled now on our camp supply system, where supplies is actually the thing that defines whether or not you're going to be able to get fully rested, yes or no. We experimented with, we call them danger zones where you can't rest. So, you know, if you played the original games, there were moments like, oh my God, I can't because I'm in this dungeon. And so it was really a question of resource management. Turns out most playtesters hated it. So we still have a couple of them where it really makes narrative sense, but we had to remove quite a few of them, of these danger zones, because our combats are quite intense. And so they usually come out with like 1 HP after a combat. And so they really need to rest. And if they then have to walk outside of a dungeon to be able to rest, to then go back into the dungeon, that turned out to not be that much fun. So we reduced that. So right now we have a system where you take your camp supplies. You can go camp wherever, unless you're in a danger zone. And if you're in a danger zone, your map is going to be red, so you'll know that you can't rest there. And there's quite a lot of locations, but not as much as we initially planned. Initially, we thought that resource attrition was going to turn out to be a lot of fun, but yeah, it turned out not to be the case.
People don't generally like losing things slowly in video games.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense.
Just real quick. I just had a real quick one. People want to play this on their Steam Deck. Is it optimized? Is it good to go, or what's going on?
Well, that's what he asked before, right? So the Steam Deck, we're going to try.
Did I miss the question?
Totally missed it.
You
It's
did,
okay.
yeah, it's
It's
okay.
all
It's
right.
okay.
Don't answer.
Look,
Don't
I
answer.
got Zeke.
Don't
I
answer.
got mine.
Hold on, I'm out.
Zeke, I got mine
Get out
about
here.
Twitch integration. You got yours about the same question. We all get one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
All
good.
right? We all get
Good.
one. We all get one.
Nice night, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. See, Sven liked it. Sven liked my joke.
The friendly
Oh,
ghost
man.
Zeke. Yeah. Friendly ghost Zeke. I'm curious, and I think we maybe asked a similar question the last time you were on, but you guys have boomed to what, like 400-ish employees now as a studio, and I'm always so interested, and we always talk about this whenever anything happens in the industry with so many other game companies. Like, how do you keep Larian and not like fall into these pitfalls that, you know, are in this industry? Because there's
That we
so
keep
many these
seeing
days.
over and over
Yeah,
and over.
like it seems to just cyclical almost every year, where like another company does X thing, but Larian remains Larian. Like, what is it that you think makes that happen? If you can pinpoint it, yeah.
I don't know what the answer. I mean, like I can't judge for others. I think we're a company, but there's many companies like that. So we really very care a lot about what we're making. We've always had this thing where we have quality, time, and budget, and time and budget are subjugated to quality, which is not necessarily always the smartest thing, but it's been the company and it's what we want to do. We don't want to do it differently. So, and that passion you'll find across the team. It's everywhere, and people will always say, well, if you join us, you got to be prepared. We're going to redo things. We're going to redo them, and that's not for everybody. Not everybody can handle that, and it's fine, which is okay. But we are the ones that will redo it until we think it's fun, because otherwise we're not gonna. We don't like it. We literally are. I think maybe that's the best one to capture it. We really want to play this thing ourselves and enjoy it, and so we will do everything so that we will enjoy it to the point that we can't anymore because we overdid it. Which happens. So, and I think that's and because because of the way that is structured, I guess that's the thing. So I'm not, as long as I'm going to be running this, this is going to be the way, right? It's going to always be. We're just going to make something that we want to play ourselves, and as long as we have a good sense of as long as what we like is what the audience likes, we will be okay. And the moment that what we like doesn't match that anymore, we'll probably be in trouble. But that's the way it is. I mean, I would hate to make something where I can't be proud of what we made and that comes out. It's just not, certainly not
Also,
at my age anymore.
Sure.
Just to add something. Funny enough, I was talking with somebody who works at Larian Studios, who's been working on Baldur's Gate 3 a pretty good amount. And funny enough, I asked him a very similar question as JP just asked Sven, except his answer was significantly shorter. In fact, it was one word. His answer was Sven.
That's very
He said,
kind of him.
That's why Larian is where it is, and that's why we have it. He goes, because Sven basically does everything. And he keeps it.
That's not true. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well,
but it's very kind of him.
Yeah, he had some very nice things to say about you. So you apparently are inspiring some good stuff in your team, for the record. But yeah,
okay.
It was.
But I have a very good team also. I mean, they are really. And I've said this a few times in interviews before, and I want to make a point of it. This because people are about to discover what they did, and they haven't really seen it yet. This is a team at the top of their craft. They're literally, you can sense it in everything that they're doing. So they're so masterful in the way that they are doing their things. It's really a joy to see it in action. And I've seen some of these grow over time. So, but what you see now, what they're doing, it's really, really good. And we've been lucky enough that we've been joined also by a whole bunch of people as we've grown that are also at the peak of their craft. And so you're seeing the combination of that in there. And so that's gonna, I think it's one of the reasons, because it's in everything, it's in even the smallest details when you walk around. Like yesterday, I was walking in the attic of a vampire house. I won't spoil it and tell you where it was.
Okay.
And so somebody had taken the trouble of dropping a number of books in there in different locations that you went. It's like a small diary. And it was a story of a woman who had become a vampire because it was her family tradition. And it was a beautiful story that was etched out there, and then you could see that the team that had worked with that said, okay, well, this woman, she would have lived like this. This is what she lived in the attic, clearly. So this is how the attic is going to look. We're going to make like that. Okay, but we need to put some gameplay in there. Then they started putting gameplay around it, and it was a really fun little puzzle that they made out of it with a very nice twist at the ending. And it looked beautiful. It felt beautiful. It had great sound. The storyline was very good, and it was a little thing. They just did it, oh yeah, sure, this is what we're going to do here. And that level of attention to detail is what you'll find throughout the entire game, which is really what I find so special about it. It rewards exploration in so many ways, just because the team had so much passion for what they were making, and they cared so much. Because I mean, you have no idea how many D&D players there are in the office who really this is going to be it, guys. This is D&D. We're going to do this. And so you see that all come together, and it's great. It's really absolutely great. I kept on being, look, this is my job, right? But promoting the game. But yesterday I was playing in this section. I was here for 20 minutes silent, watching this end of one of the particular permutations of Astarion, the vampire, and Shadowheart. And it was amazing. And I was I was saying to myself, oh my God, I hope this is the path that a reviewer picks, because it's so incredibly good. Right? So, but nobody's going to pick it because it was so evil. But it was really...
They might. You never
Yeah, I
know.
was gonna
But it was. I mean, like you'll see for yourselves. But it was
Okay.
really good, but it was good because of again that attention to detail that there was in every single aspect of how that storytelling was done, visually, auditive, the narrative, the way that all of these gameplay sections are arranged to against one another. So it's really it's really why I founded this company, to make this kind of thing.
Awesome. You brought up reviewers. Is reviewing this game like a weird process because there's so many permutations in it that reviewer A can get something completely different from the other 100 reviewers that they'll never experience, right, on one playthrough. Is that like a worry? Is that just the game? Is that how it is?
No, it's a serious worry because because we moved our date earlier, we compressed review time. That's actually one of the things we sacrificed. So in moving it forward, we said, okay, well, we'll have less time for the reviewers as a result of this. It worries me because I would like them to see exactly how much there is. I would like them to see the different permutations, to see how it is, because it is. I think it'll be obvious when you play it, but I don't know anymore because I've played so much of it and I've seen so much of it. But I hope that they're going to be aware, or at least try a number of things and say, "Oh, holy shit! Did that just happen? Did that game completely rotate because I just did that?" And the answer will be, "Yeah, it did,"
Sure,
because that's what it does. All right. So
yeah. I will
I would
say,
hope that if they are like any of the reviewers are like upset or disappointed or whatever with any sort of like path or ending they get, I hope they blame themselves because of the choices they
well
made.
said.
sure.
no, that's not true. No. That's us. That's us. We need to make sure that you always have a good time, right? So that's our jobs. So it's just that you can't have like 110% on everything, right? So there needs to be some variation, or there will inevitably be some variation. There are things in there that we genuinely as a team are convinced of. This is really, really good. There are moments in there. There's really a very wide spectrum of emotion that you're going to get as you're going to play it, as it should be, because for a lengthy RPG based on D&D, that's what it is. But we'll see. I mean, I hate review at times because that's like it's out there, can't do anything anymore.
Sure, yeah.
The only thing I can do is like just go and sit in a corner and just say they're going to hate it, and then just see what happens, and then wait until to hear what it is. So I don't know. Review code is going to go out very soon now, so we'll see what happens.
Speaking of experience raw, visceral emotion, will druids be able to talk to Boo?
Ha! The question. We debated that question for a very long time. So if you wild shape, you can talk to other animals. It's one of the ways that you can talk to animals if you want. That's how I am with my cat. I made it a point of turning into a cat whenever I saw a rat. But Boo is special. And exactly how special, you'll have to find out yourself.
Follow-up question. When you picked Samuel L. Jackson to voice him, how did that process go?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to hype this up because no. But we actually the mystery of Boo is that it's the mystery of Boo, so we wanted to leave it alone. So I think you'll find a really good Minsk. At least I enjoy him. You'll because obviously you're mind melding with one another. So because of the tadpoles that you share with one another, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, you'll find out. You'll find for yourselves. I mean, I love the scene in which you find the. Well, never mind. You'll find out.
I was gonna say, danger.
Yeah, gotta be careful. Gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, one kind of just quick mechanical question, and this is kind of opens a door into a little bit of what you guys were thinking with this. So a lot of 5e players noticed that there was no dodge action. Is that like how did that thinking come around? Is it there in different forms? Like how does that work?
No, it's not in there. So that's there's no ready, there's no dodge. So those are so whether or not that's the right decision, we'll see with the mods. If people are going to mod it in, it's possible.
Probably already have.
But I mean, like, yeah, exactly. So, but we're not shipping with it.
Cool.
Kind of a more broad, open-end development question. This is from Enzeval on Twitter. What was the hardest thing to make for you in the game? What was the thing that you most iterated on? And on the other side, what was surprisingly easy for you?
So the hardest one was actually the bit that we made during COVID. That was the hardest bit, just because it was we were working in completely different circumstances than we were used to. So it was very hard to make those bits. I got to say that the ones that were the easiest ones, but in hindsight, it should have been predicted, right? So we had this city that we were making, and we were afraid of the city, but we worked hard on the city. But to be fair, that was probably easier than making the bit that we made during COVID, even if the city was such a big thing with so much content going on. And this particular game, I think that would be the thing. The hardest one would have been everything we'd made during COVID, just because it was such a dark time. Conversely, we also it's a dark section in the game, which I realized afterwards. So that's funny. Actually, we made one of the darkest sections in the games is what we made during this darkest time in our development career. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
I don't know how that worked out. Also, going back to kind of the early access process, Arc of Aether on Twitter is wondering if there are any particular character class interactions in early access that most players missed that you looking at your data.
Sorry, can you say that again, Cohh? Sorry, I missed you
they
there.
were wondering, are there any particular character or class interactions in early access that most players missed? Was there anything in the early access that was like that you saw in your data?
Yeah, so I personally don't look that much at the data, because otherwise it's going to influence me too much. I sometimes tell the team, like, oh, nobody picks that option, but I actually don't really know what I'm talking about. So I wouldn't be able. I would have to ask one of our analytics guys to tell you the answer. So I don't know.
Cool.
Very cool.
I kind of outside of the game, outside of Baldur's Gate, just real quick, personal question for you. Did you have like a comfort game or a piece of media that you would revisit or constantly play, like when you weren't playing Baldur's Gate for the umpteenth time, that you would often go to during the 6 years of development?
Yeah, it's painful because I'm so bad at it. It's Into the Breach on my Switch.
Nice. Great one. Great one.
I suck so hard at it. And I just keep on going back to it. It's ridiculous because I travel a lot for my job, and I am on the plane, and I got all these games that I load on my Switch, and I just keep on going back to Into the Breach.
Hey, it's comfort. That's how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing wrong with that, man. That's a great one.
Yeah, dude. My Steam says I have over 300 hours in that game.
There you go.
So I feel you. I feel you on that. Yeah.
It's great. It's great. I was reading another interview that he did. I think it was with Eurogamer. You probably mentioned it multiple times in multiple interviews. But you said that Ultima 7 is your, you said the game that defines you. What is like your favorite Ultima 7 memory, your core memory of that game that, you know, if you had to say, you oftentimes go back to and think about?
Yeah, there was a Lich in Ultima 7, and he told you that he was unkillable, and he wasn't. But he was really, really, really hard to kill. And I spent, I don't know how much time in that dungeon trying to how am I going to kill this Lich? It's impossible. You can't kill this thing, right? So, but it was lying. And the game was trying to tell me via various clues. But other than that, it was just a sheer sense of reward for exploration. I picked that up from that game. I said that this is one of the games that rewards exploration so much through systemic interaction with the world, because you had to put your little crates next to one another and climb on top of it to get through things, and like there were secrets everywhere. I loved it, and it's heavily defined how I think RPGs should make, because I want to get that same feeling from our own games. And to, you know what? It's funny that you mentioned it, JP, because yesterday I was in the city and I said, "Oh, we got it." All right. And I was literally, that feeling that I had a long time ago when I was playing Ultima 7. I felt it as I was walking through the city, exploring one of the houses. And I said, okay, we got it. I just felt like that because I hadn't seen what they had done with the house. I knew the general intention, but they had put in multiple things in there that were secrets upon secrets, and then another secret, and then a nice reward, and it felt good.
Was that the first time that you had that feeling so far in the game? When it kind of, as it's taken so long in the journey to get to that point?
I think so. To be fair, yeah, because no, there's another section where I had it in the game. I'm not going to tell you which one. Earlier on, where I said, okay, that's actually that nailed it. But here it was special because it just reminded me of a moment that I had in the past and that I never told anybody in the team on there, but I was having it as I was playing it, and I felt like it was a really good day yesterday, actually, because I'm preparing. I'm doing a little thing. I was preparing for it, and I came up with this really, really cool, insane idea of how I'm going to do it, and I had that also happening, and it worked, and I was so happy because I enjoy when the systems allow you to do something in the game, like the designers intended it to be like this, but I find a way of completely bypassing it, but which fulfills my role-playing itch. And so I discovered that yesterday also in the city. I found the ultimate way of robbing a bank is essentially what I did. And it was really, and I thought I already knew how to do it because I did it actually at that press event I was telling you about. But I found a so much better way of doing it. Which is ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous, but it's really cool.
Cool.
Sounds
Cohh,
amazing.
let's keep going with community questions here in the final 10 minutes or so.
Unpopular Onion has this question, and I'm going to add a little bit of my own preface to it. You guys have created something incredible. Like you said, you have this very finely honed team of extremely experienced people making this engine that you have Baldur's Gate 3 in. Unpopular Onion is wondering, will there ever be a dungeon master tool with ways for people to create their custom campaigns and maps for their own D&D campaigns?
So no, I don't think, because that would be a huge undertaking in its own to do it really. Yeah, exactly. So I wish we had it because it would make our jobs easier. So no, I don't think we're going to be doing that. It's complicated, this type of, because it would be very complicated.
Is that something that would be left?
Yeah.
Is that something that might be left to like modders and stuff like that?
So we will support modding. So as after release, there will be a lot of support coming for modding. I mean, not right away because we're focusing on finishing the game right now. But it will still be quite a challenge to do it. You do have the engine is there, and it allows you to do a lot of stuff, really a lot of stuff already. But the problem is that the visuals that you have to put in are quite expensive to make in terms of time that you have to put in there. So there's no generating a dungeon thing. There's no easy way of rapidly putting a dungeon together. So you would have to spend time on it. You would need team to do it. But I'm not saying that's undoable. I mean, it's just the way that it is right now.
Okay.
Speaking of that, and there's a couple questions that we just had literally 50 plus people ask. And of course, this is super early, and I was even debating asking this because the game's not even out yet. But have you guys alluded to or talked about more content coming in the future for Baldur's Gate 3 or anything like that? Or are you just focusing on the release 100%?
I'm not going to say 100%, but pretty much 100%, definitely right now. So no, we've been, obviously, I mean, like, we're a studio like any other, right? So we already know what we're going to do next, but we haven't alluded to it at all externally. I don't think so.
Awesome. Just a quick mechanical question to slide in there. This is from LK Biohazard on Twitter. Will it be possible to trigger more than one companion scene per night at the camp? Currently in EA, due to the one limit, it can cause sometimes a scene to be missed.
So the camp system has been upgraded significantly. You got to be careful in what you think of as a missed night, because people have this completionist view, and you can't. You just can't. This game doesn't allow you to be completionist because you just can't see everything. So what it does is, for instance, I'll give you a really simple example. In one of the early nights that you have in early access, there's a moment where I think it's a second night or something like that. And you can talk to Shadowheart or Starn or Gale or whoever is in your camp, and they'll have an extensive dialogue. And then if you go talk to Shadowheart, you say, what were you two talking about? right? If you would have gone to a Shadowheart, she would have had her dialogue, and nobody else would have said, "What were you two talking about?" Right? So you would already have to do it in the right sequence just to be able to get that moment with her, and to consume all of the content. It's full of those things, right? It's full of things where you're never going to see things because they react to what you did, and the trying to see everything is just not going to work. What I can tell you is that the game has systems in place, and people will discover what they are, to make sure that if there's something that was important, you will not miss it. It will always make sure that you see everything that you need to see.
That's good to
discover. But I don't want to.
How many times do I got to play this? How many times do I got to play this goddamn game to see everything?
It's going to be very hard, actually. I don't think there's anybody that's seen everything, unless you actually really use our debug tools. Because it's made to. I use this analogy where I say it's like what we try to do is, because it's now cinematic, we try to make a screenplay tailored to your play. A screenplay that's made for you specifically on your play session, where you get interactive movie with a whole bunch of systemic gameplay in there that is literally giving you what you should be getting based on what you've been doing. And I don't think there's been a lot of RPGs like that before. I can't think of one, because I would be all over it right now. So at least at the level that we've done it. And so we'll see. I mean, if that works out and you guys think the same thing, definitely let me know. Because it's what we try to do. We try to say, when you think about all the adventures that you've had, you would say, yeah, that was actually because it was me. And that's what I did. And then when you talk to each other, you say, holy shit, that didn't happen to me at all. Right? Well, that's probably because you didn't do these things. You did different things. And that's how, in my ideal version of RPGs, that's how it should be. Right? So you get this really immersive narrative experience where you're free to do whatever shenanigans you want, but you always get a story that's really taking you on a really fantastic ride, specifically tailored to the things that you have done.
Awesome.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Exciting. Cohh, I think we could do one or two more, depending on.
Okay,
on
this is a quick one. This is more of just something the community was wondering. I saw this question, was like, oh man, now I'm curious too. This is from Pure Establishment on Reddit. The question I have to ask Sven is what exactly he was talking about when, back in an interview, he said that he had this huge secret for years. The quote, "I got a thing I can't talk about, so I've been sitting on this for years already." So you already know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what it is. I also know what I meant.
Have you divulged that secret?
I have, yes.
Was it the dark urge?
No, it was beer sex. No, it was the dark urge.
6 years ago, he just wanted to see what would happen if you included it in the game. He wanted to see
that
two
is some
animals.
serious PR planning. Well done to you and the team.
No.
Right
like
before
seeing in
release,
my
they're
head,
gonna get.
I'm seeing in my head like the voiceover of the No Clip documentary be like, it all started in a very weird way.
Yeah, is Finn
With
just
bear
sitting in a
sex,
zoo
like
or something like
Baldur's
that?
Gate 3. He's like, I have an idea.
No, it was a dark urge. It was indeed a dark urge.
Yeah,
Cool.
That was the
Got
dark urge. That was something I always wanted to put in a game, and the team embraced it. They came up with a really cool version of it. And you'll see it fits really well. It addresses a lot of stuff that I've seen people talk about that I couldn't talk about. So I enjoy it being in there now. So, and it's cool. But as much as I hate to say it, I wouldn't actually recommend it for people that play the first time.
Really?
Yeah. People will, I know. I mean, but I wouldn't. But it's fine. It just gives you, because you get different versions of the story. And there's a variety of things that are going to happen where you could have had something completely different if you were in Dark Urge, right? And it's nice to know this is how the story goes. I'm the Dark Urge now. I get a completely different perspective on it. Holy shit! There's this holy shit moment that comes, but works better if you already know the first version around. I don't want to diss the Dark Urge either.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Okay.
it's a problem with the Avatar versions. The Avatar versions are actually really cool. So what we meant Avatar version, I mean the origin system where you can become a character and see it through their perspective. But they work better if you played the game already once, because then you see it through their eyes, and then you say, what was what was Shadowheart thinking the first time she saw you, right? So, and now you know when you're in their head, because then you're talking to yourself. And so, but you know some of their secrets also, because it's you, so you know the secret. So it's better if you first recruit them as companions, and then afterwards, when you know the secret, you go back and say, okay, well, what does it mean if I have these things in my head? That's why we add these origins for replay value.
Yeah, I was going to
and
say,
they're cool. Yeah.
as a quick follow-up, would you recommend a custom character or an origin character over your very first character?
I would always pick a custom
Yeah.
and discover my companions. I think the origins come into play when you replay it. That said, there's nothing wrong with picking an origin, right? Mm-hmm. It's just to make the entire origin system is about where do you put the camera, right? And whose head do you put the camera on the same thing? It's the reason why all these things work. If the three of you are going to play as origins and you play together, you're going to have a good time. You're just going to have you're going to be you might be in competing situations also where your interests don't align with one another, especially from your origin background, which is fun and then works well. So, but that's, you'll discover all this for yourselves very soon if everything goes well.
Awesome.
Last super quick follow-up on that. I know that traditionally origin characters are kind of locked, or their classes are kind of very much a part of their character. Will you be able to respec them similar to the other characters as well?
Yeah, you can respec everything, and you can respec through the game also. There's a gold price to be paid, but you can respec anybody. The only things that are actually locked in are the subclasses of two of our origin characters when you start playing, when you recruit them. But you can respec in any case, so it doesn't really matter.
Great.
It's just, but in their head, they will always have that in their background. That's important to say. Like, will always be a warlock. He will, because his story doesn't work if he wasn't a warlock.
Elson will always be a druid.
Yes, exactly, but not necessarily. And but he will, even if you respec him, he will still be a druid narratively, because otherwise that would become impossible.
Right.
And with those two little specific side classes, if you were to respec out of them, you could respec back into them on those two characters. They're not gone forever if you respec out of them.
No. You can just keep on respecing. You meet a character that gives you a narrative reason why you can respec, and so you can just go and talk to that character, and then it'll say, "Hello, I want to respec," and says, "This amount of gold, please." He said, "I don't have any gold." Well, don't bother me then.
Fair enough.
Awesome.
Fair enough.
That's it for me.
Yeah, final question.
Thanks
for
everyone
me.
who submitted questions.
Yeah, thank you so much for putting that thread out, and everyone else. There was like 200, 300 responses on Reddit. It was, it was wild. People are very excited for the game and had a lot of questions. Final question for me is, what's the next week look like for you? Is it heads down? I mean, you submitted the game, you said today, but you're still doing some bug fixes. But are you in the office normal times? Like everything normal?
Longer days than usual, but it's a triage really. You always decide what do we put into the final game, what do we leave for a patch. You have these lists that accumulate, and so it's the triage process. It's the most boring thing in the universe. It's really not a lot of fun. Okay. It has to happen. It's an important part of a release. But that's been life. I've been playing a lot, so I'll be playing a lot also. The entire team is playing right now anyway. So everybody's playing what they've been working on for all this time. And so basically as a final big beta test, for sure issues will come up. There will be panic, everything that's associated with the release.
How it goes. Is
exactly,
launch day just a 24-hour whirlwind for you? Where
sitting by the bat phone waiting for the call?
Yeah.
So, well, we have two... It's a really good question, because our studio heads have been asking this the entire time. What do we do? Do we do a big party? Don't we do a big party? Do we do a big party? Don't we do a big party? So I don't know. I mean, if there's something that we missed. So typically when you release something, there's always a hotfix because there's something that you missed and you don't know what it's going to be. It's like device driver 320,000.A does not work, and it's like 5% of the internet has it. Do something. And then that kind of thing. So that's the hotfix process. So we have two release parties planned. We have one for the release date and one a week later. The one a week later,
the party, the actual party,
the actual party, the one that you can actually drink at,
and relax,
let loose a little bit,
And but the day itself, depending on how it goes, we'll see. We don't know. We actually really, this is a huge game. It's very large.
Sure.
Right? So it's large. So we don't know.
I think I think I speak for a lot of us. It still blows our mind that with a game this large, that you guys were like, you know what, we're gonna do this a month earlier than we anticipated. Like it's mind blowing. That sets a lot of, you know, hopefully great expectations on how you feel about the state of the game. So
Yep.
we're very very excited for sure.
We were also late actually, and so that's it's nice. So we're early in our
getting
lateness.
specific.
You said it, not us. You said it.
We were gonna just leave that a little, you know, amorphous. But that's fine.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No, it was also the split between the console and PC that made it possible.
Yeah.
So moving the console later suddenly removed a bunch of pressure. This allowed us to release the PC version earlier. So
All right.
find out very soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Zeke, you got any final
I had
questions?
one last question. Will it be optimized for Steam Deck? Just
I knew it. I knew it.
You had to ask. You know, you got to get that in.
Fuck, I felt so dumb, dude. I'm sorry about that. I felt like a
That's
baby.
happens.
okay.
It happens. how it goes.
There's a team working on it, Zeke. So they're trying to figure out what the right settings are because they are.
Just let him know that Zeke really wants it. He has.
Yeah.
They got to ask three. Like Zeke is a huge Steam Deck fan, and he really needs it ported immediately.
I'll make sure that they know they're very motivated to do it.
Fantastic. Well, let's. You got any shout outs? Anything to say? I know you said you wanted to bring a surprise on Twitter. So anything to say here at the final? Yeah.
It was one of those other secrets. There's still a few secrets we haven't divulged, and one of these secrets, I think, is ready to be announced now. Not so long. Well, it's been several months by now. A certain gentleman visited us in our recording studios in Guildford in London. And so recorded a character to be put into game. And I think we have a little video that you can watch how that particular gentleman did. I think he did pretty well, to be honest.
Let's see how it goes. By the way, I'm the only person that's seen it. I think Sven's seen it as well, but Cohh and Zeke have not. So here we go.
There's a character who's written to be intentionally incredibly annoying, and people who've played the original games will likely recognize certainly the line from which he's descended.
My name's Narber, adventurer to be, soon to be the best adventurer anyone's ever seen.
So the minute you meet him, he starts following you around, constantly pestering you. You can try and tell him to shut up, and he just doesn't.
Happy birthday, dear. Now why would I do that? Oh, wow, that sounds awful. I don't think I want to sound like that.
So the game gives you an incredible amount of freedom. So if in real life you met Cohh Carnage in the street, you could decide to push him in the river. In the game, if you meet Cohh Carnage in the street, you could push him in the river.
Excuse me.
But you really shouldn't push Cohh Carnage into the river in real life.
Thank you for
I'm
that.
a
Thank you.
strong swimmer. No drowning for me.
You can kill him and he still won't stop talking.
Why are you leaving me? I have so much more to tell you.
Fantastic.
Oh man,
It's
it has
look,
been
I was upset.
so hard not talking about this for months.
I was upset until I saw the fact that we could push him off a cliff, and then I was like, "Great, I'm just gonna, quick save, quick load, just constantly
Yeah,
push him off the cliff."
just as a huge personal thank you to Sven and the team. It was magical going out there. Every person I talked to from Larian was just the height of professionalism, just super friendly. It was an incredible experience. So I am honored to be a part of this, especially to play the main character of Baldur's Gate. This is big. This is big.
The big role.
So ever since Baldur's Gate Newber's Adventure, playing his descendant is really truly an honor.
I can't wait for the DLC. I mean, we got that exclusive too, right? It's gonna be It's a huge story. Yeah.
But it was fun.
It's got a nice story also. It's got a little twist in it, which is also really cool. Which I enjoy, which you'll discover for yourself. It's a well-written character, so you'll have fun with it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Sven, for coming on. When PR told me that, you can talk to him a week before release, I was like, "Are you sure about that?" That's crazy. So I appreciate your time. We all appreciate your time here. and joining us. You'll have to come back. Maybe not in another 2 years. Maybe we'll have you on. You're welcome back anytime, but we'll talk to you hopefully sooner than that.
Yeah, a little post-launch check-in down the road. You know, that could be a lot of fun.
Well, first, I mean, if you hate it, I'm just going to be in hiding somewhere in the jungle forever. If you'll like it, I'll be happy to come back.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
Thank you for having me.
Fair enough.
Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you so much. You as well. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a great one.
Have a good one. Bye.
Take care. Do I click the end call button?
That's correct. Oh man. What was the Cohh? I have to ask, like, the motion. Was that the first time you've done motion capture?
Yes.
And
First
what
time
was
I've done
that
motion
like?
capture. It was wild. I mean, it took a lot of prep work, a lot of training. One thing that's or not training, like a lot of setup and stuff. A couple things that were really interesting is that I never realized that you have to have like a ready stance, which is not standing straight up generally. There's like a stance in which people stand in as they're talking or doing motions. And every single animation has to start from that stance and end at that stance. So basically for like 4 hours, I was like kind of like on the balls of my feet a little bit, like, you know, like doing these multiple takes. And I mean, there's hundreds of lines for the character because of course it's reactive to class selection, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was wild. It was a very cool experience. I can also talk about this, which was super cool. So during my session, Neil Newbaum, who plays Asterion, was there, and he is like a super professional, awesome actor. He's done all sorts of things. He leads voice acting. He just did Deliver Us Mars. If you know that, he was the dad in Deliver Us Mars and ran the whole thing. And he was constantly like giving me tips and, you know, being like, no, say it like this and do it like this. And it was incredibly helpful. And I was very appreciative to him for that. He's a very cool guy.
Safe to say, like, an eye-opening experience then into that field.
Oh, completely. Like the amount of people that were like technically knowing exactly what they were doing and exactly what they were looking for, and their ability to properly express like what they want and what I need to do to get to that point and things of that nature. It was very eye-opening. Like I didn't quite realize that the industry was that refined, I guess to say, like that good at what it does. Everyone knew exactly what they were doing the entire time. And there was probably 15, 20 people like all doing their individual thing, from, you know, like multiple camera checks to making sure all the things stayed on properly to, you know, they were constantly talking back and forth and relaying like, okay, do you have these sensors on? Okay, cool. How's this look? How's this look? How's this look? Go. And, you know, it was very cool. Very cool. So it was a great experience.
Did you get to ad-lib anything, or did you stick to the lines?
Well, they basically gave me the lines, which were on a big screen in front of me. And then they essentially gave me like some notes here and there, but it was pretty much freedom to however I wanted to do it. The timing, they very much were like, you know, make this character yours, like do what you want. They of course had an idea about how they wanted it to sound and look.
Sure.
In some scenes they wanted to look specific ways, and I did exactly what they said. But other times they were just like, how would he say that? And I'd be like, oh, okay. And they're like,
cool.
Okay, go. Yeah. It was very cool.
You got to be the character rather than play the character, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm already seeing lots of questions. I'm going to purposefully not be answering too many things about the content or the lines.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it's all story.
Yeah,
spoilers, yeah.
There's a lot of like I said, there's hundreds of lines with this character. It's not.
Yeah. How long was the process for you? Like what? How long were
2
you in the
days,
booth?
4 hours
worth.
a day. Yeah,
Okay.
like it was a lot. So there's a lot of things that he can do and different situations that lead to different outcomes and things like that. So I am looking forward to murdering myself and seeing what that will take place. So there's lots to do.
Yeah. I'm just that's what I'm most excited for. I'm not even. Yeah. I think me and Zeke will both just be like, all right, that's enough out of you, and then we're gonna go find the nearest.
There's a whole
cliff.
thing that unlocks. I mean, it's gonna be they did such a good job. And the woman you saw talking, the lead writer in the
that's the
there,
lead writer. Okay.
yes, she is one of the lead writers, and she is so good at what she does. Like it was like just reading. There were definitely times during the take, because some of them, a big portion of it, I saved to cold read, to get like a better, more natural reaction out of it.
Right.
And there were lines that I had to retake multiple times because I would start laughing while reading them. So like she's top of her craft for sure.
Awesome. Did they come to you?
Very excited for the rest of the game.
Did they come to you with that character idea, or was that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So I was talking to them before COVID. Funny enough, they reached out about some stuff, and then years and years later, I reached back out and it was like, hey, so is this happening? And they were like, yeah, we'll get back to you. It's kind of busy right now. This was a few months ago. And finally, I just messaged Sven out of the blue one day, and I was like, "Hey, if you guys still want anything, I'm here to help." And he replied back pretty much like, "Oh, I know who you can play."
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah, it was, and that began the whole process.
Cool.
Also, special shout out to Kieran Kelly, who was like the guy that was helping me out the whole time. Dude is amazing. I'm just gonna say he was the guy that said Sven is like the pinnacle.
And what's
the
his
Larian
role?
Experience. He's one of the community coordinators,
Oh,
managers.
okay.
He does. He's a man of many hats, but he was a guy that helped me when I was out there, and he was just top notch, phenomenal. Like, yeah, very, very cool guy.
Fantastic. Yeah,
And that is it from me.
the link for that will be up soon. I think Cohh has to. I don't know if y'all worked that out. I think Cohh's tweeting it or Baldur's Gate tweeting it or something for that video.
Whatever they tell me to do.
Yeah, it'll get
absolutely.
posted sometime later today. I can't put it up anywhere except for this VOD that we're currently recording, so it's not up to me. I was incredibly nervous when they're like, "All right, so we're gonna give you this video. You can't say anything. If you play it, we're gonna be very upset with you. Do not fuck this up." And so I sat here like, "All right, well, how can I make?" I had to do a bunch of shit. I'm glad it went off without a hitch. Very, very proud of that. Very happy with that. Anyways,
yeah,
let's move on to the show. We got things to discuss. We got things to talk about. Because Baldur's Gate's going to take over everyone's life. I think in 10 days,
11 days
or so.
11
days and
11 days.
Well, no, it's under 10 now, right?
That's actually correct. Yeah, it's 10 days, 22 hours and 40
But
minutes.
who's counting? You know, how do you,
Who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting? How's it going? Who cares?
Yeah.
News. We don't have much. It's not much. It's not too much happening right now. A little bit of a lackluster news week. Mortal Kombat had some stuff. You can have Homelander and Omni-Man and some other wild characters in Mortal Kombat 1. So that's a whole thing. That was San Diego Comic-Con is happening right now, and it's kind of weird because they don't have any actors there because of the strike. So it's like, here are some costumes from our things. Take a look. It's a very odd show this year, to say the least. So video games, I think, got a little bit more of a focus. They showed a new Spider-Man 2 trailer, also a new Spider-Man 2 PS5 blade and controller. I haven't watched the trailer yet, but I think Venom shows up in that, as well as who Venom is in that game for spoiler purposes. So don't watch it if you're worried about that. But that's out there. Armored Core 6 had a big trailer, story-focused trailer this past week, which is really badass. Definitely check that out if you haven't. But apart from that, like, not too much news. We could probably just talk games. The Microsoft Bethesda thing, I think, got pushed out to October, was the information on that. So that thing's not closing for a while. Yeah, I saw that the Ubisoft was shutting down inactive accounts. Cohh, I know you had some information on that Barry followed up on. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, when it first came out, and don't get me wrong, I am all for hating on large faceless corporations doing dirty things. I totally am. But when that first came out, I was like, there's got to be more to this. The last thing that Ubisoft needs is this huge public fiasco about stealing people's money and everything. So Barry actually followed up in it, and he found a source that stated that Ubisoft is shutting down accounts that haven't been logged in for X years. They are giving notice before they do, and it's only applying to accounts that have no purchased products. So basically, that is something that many, many, many companies do. That is not a thing that is like Ubi specific in any way. I think it's just one of those situations where, a few people made some assumptions, some tweets got some traction, and people were flipping out all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a non-issue essentially. If it does turn out they're deleting accounts that have money associated with them, that's a huge issue. But it does not seem to be that case.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Here's a silly thing to go on to. You said tweets, and it made me think of what's currently happening at Twitter. Are they still going to be called tweets after this brand thing that he's talking? Because he's changing it to. Is it Twitter X? Is it just going to be called X now? Yeah. Did you see this?
No, I haven't seen this at all. What are we talking about?
He's changing. It's no longer going to be Twitter. He's decided that it's no longer Twitter or something. I don't know. X.com apparently redirects to Twitter.com now. I don't know what's happening. He said it last night that they're going to start to like phase that stuff out. So I don't know.
I honestly sometimes think that he's just trying to kill the site.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like his out, like of some contract that we don't know about.
I don't know.
I don't even understand. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know.
But
the real question is X going to give it to us?
He'll give you some money depending on your tweet engagement, I guess. He's giving it to some people.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus.
Oh yeah. That's something that I never like thought about having to do is like not interacting with any sort of
Things. Yeah.
Twitter blue checkmark accounts that I don't want to give money to. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to give them money, you have to fucking actually ignore them. And
Yeah.
that's like, sometimes I realize that's pretty hard.
Yeah.
But now with all the fucking ad, revenue that they'll make from, saying salacious shit for no reason. I mean, for no reason other than money, to say like, men are stupid. Money, please. Thank you.
It's all the rage bait.
See all the reactions, all the retweets, all the quote tweets. Like, give me that delicious money.
Yeah. It's all the rage bait. Activision Blizzard. We could spend a whole segment on them this past week. They had layoffs via their esports department. I think specifically with the Overwatch League. Everyone is gone from what I read. There's also there's a vote coming up. And it's a vote to continue the league and it says under an updated operating agreement, a termination fee of $6 million will be payable to each participating team entity, a total fee of approximately $114 million if they do not agree to continue the league. So we'll see what happens with that. It's been an odd week, at least on my Twitter, from all the esports folk that I follow, talking about Overwatch League and worked at Overwatch League, and that was their employment for the past several years. So definitely rough stuff there. On the other side of Activision Blizzard, or at least down the hall, Diablo 4 launched Season 1 this week. And before that happened, they put out a patch, and no one was happy with the patch. And they had a big stream on Friday, I think is when that went down. It had Pez, the community manager, the associate game director, and I think the game director. And they essentially just came out and said, like, yeah, we messed up.
We're sorry.
Yeah, this was the IGN headline is Blizzard admits it messed up Diablo 4's disastrous nerf patch and announced upcoming sweeping changes. So
it's kind of wild because like I feel like the fireside chats and the communication thing was specifically to reinforce that they were listening to the community.
Yeah.
And then this patch comes out that it was the literal antithesis of listening to the community. And then they had to do like a we're sorry panel. And it's just kind of like, where was the disconnect here?
Yeah.
Like how it's very strange, like that these personable people that seem like good dudes, and it's kind of like you want to like give them the benefit of the doubt and get that human element in, but at the same time it's like the patch pretty clearly shows that they're going whichever way they want to go with it, and
right.
that so it's very strange. It's a very strange and uncomfortable disconnect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there can you suss out a logical reason for this patch?
I mean, you can definitely look at it and put I wouldn't even I think I could cover my bases and said, yeah, you could put tinfoil hats on, but in a lot of ways, like you could look at what they did and just point to, oh, they want to make more money. They want to keep people involved in the game. They want to not involved, but they want to keep people in the game longer by slowing everything down. And it's like, who knows if there's truth
so in
to
order,
that.
if they slow things down, can you pay to like speed it up somehow?
No, you can't pay to speed it up, but you can make your character look better that you're going to be staring at for longer periods of time. Right? Like that's, I guess maybe they're going, again, it's
just keep you
tinfoil
playing
cap.
longer so you, okay.
Yeah. Because
I saw a video now, correct me if I'm wrong, or if this is just like completely false or whatever, but there is like, I saw a video of the activate season pass button being next to another button you press all the time. Is that a true thing?
Yeah. So it's when you open up the season pass, and I think this is specific to controllers, but it also applies to mouse and keyboard users because there's no confirmation. But when you open up that menu, the default like unlock season pass with your deluxe or whatever they called it, the Kill Diablo package, whatever the expensive package was on launch, that menu is automatically selected. And if you press A or confirmation, whatever the confirmation button is on a controller, it automatically just applies it. There's no like, do you really want to apply this? It's just boom, unlocked. And that was happening to a lot of people. That's kind of like, yeah.
That sounds fucking awful. That
Yeah.
sounds like purposefully, maliciously bad.
Yeah, a lot of people have enabled their season pass because when you bought that version of the game, you got like a free token to unlock a season pass. And so you could potentially save it for future seasons. Unless you unfortunately opened it up and pressed the confirmation and then it used it. So it's a really, like I watched it live and I was definitely, there was a lot of that type of conversation of like, oh, this is all on purpose. They're slowing the game down. So, the KPI gets increased, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, kind of saying those people are all wrong in chat. But then I ended the stream and I was like, I don't think they're that wrong. Right? Like, I think the people that were on that stream maybe aren't the ones that made that decision. But there's a part of me that thinks, the marketing, the bean pushers at Activision were like, this could potentially increase our growth over X quarter type deal. It's I don't know.
There's no, I mean, we had a talk about this as well. There's no denying it. The longer you keep players in a game, the more inclined they are to purchase your cash shop items.
Yeah.
Be it the battle pass, be it all this stuff. Artificially inflating the length of time of players in a game is a direct monetary thing. And that's what this entire patch did in many and multiple different ways. Like the idea that some of these changes were not in there for that explicit reason is almost unarguable. So and then combine them all together and it's a clear direction that they're taking.
Yeah.
So it's very unfortunate.
It is
very unfortunate.
Yeah. Yep. And I think I have like such a hard time admitting that that's probably happening because it's the last like bastion of my copium with Blizzard of like, no, they made so many good games. This isn't really happening. But I think it's kind of happening. I think it's a thing.
I honestly also, it's even more unfortunate for the people that are adding that humanizing element to these dev things, these dev events, because like they are good people, and it's almost like they're kind of feeding them to the wolves in a lot of ways by like doing this kind of stuff and then like putting them in front of people to deal with the fallout of these decisions on the back end.
Yeah.
Like it must.
Well, dude, the generals don't go on the front line, homie. Like,
you're not wrong.
My point is, it's almost scapegoaty, and that's really, really unfortunate. Because they seem like good dudes.
Adam's a great guy. I've known him for a super long time.
Awesome guy, absolutely. We've worked with him since Warframe days when he used to do that. So yeah, it's I really hope that they've realized. Funny enough, I kind of have a CDPR view of this, where it's like I kind of hope they realize that they can't screw up this bad, and maybe they just will put their nose to the grindstone a bit and realize you have to make your players a little happier. You have to throw them a bone. You can't go this far with it, which is essentially what they said in the thing. We're sorry, we went too far with it. We're sorry about this, and it's like, yeah. So hopefully the future will be a bit brighter, but man, if it's not, it's going to be some dark days for D4.
Yeah.
Are they doing something about it? Like, are they
Yep.
like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they've got a patch
Okay.
coming out. And a lot of people will be like, it's not fast enough, but because of like how certification works on console pushes, it takes a little bit of time. So I think they said they've got another stream happening this coming Friday, and then the patch will happen not too long after that. They were pressed by community questions of like, can you give a solid date on that? And they specifically said production will not allow us to say a date. And so probably like 10 days, 14 days, something like that. But you could tell that they were definitely not able to say the proper time.
Getting more details. So some people in chat are saying, maybe do a better check on this. It's not what you guys are saying. I don't
About
think
what?
we're too far off here. Yeah, I'm trying to get more information. I don't think we're too far off here. I mean, that's.
I don't know about
I've been
what
following it
specifically.
loosely, but I actually asked him to clear it up a bit, but we'll see.
Okay.
I'll see if I can get some more
Yeah,
information.
let me know,
We
'cause
want to make sure the right info gets out there.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. I watched it live, so I'm hoping I didn't misinterpret it. I was also looking at chat, which was a whole nother thing during that, as you would expect any volatile. It was so funny because me and Cohh played PoE, and we've talked about PoE multiple times here. The PoE subreddit was like fucking rainbows and unicorns and happiness. And it's because all those people that were angry were over on the D4 subreddit, being angry and volatile and pissed off. And then next weekend during the Exile Con, they're all going to shift back over there. It just be rapid fire with whatever gets announced there. So it's, it is
That's
what
going
it
to be a
is.
thing.
Yeah.
That's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
The guy clarified. He said just the leveling speed that you were talking about, that part, it's actually faster post patch.
I think, yeah, they did talk about how they want to. Yes. There was a lot of conversation specifics about how they do want to speed it up by.
How they want to, or how it is.
I don't know if it's not, but if it is at the moment, I didn't get that high level, but they talked about how they want to get it back.
Interesting. To be fair, although I would say like 80% are saying it's not faster, there are some people saying it is faster.
Yeah, because there was
some confusion with that.
There was a mob density patch, and now we're getting into the weeds, that happened later on Friday, I think, that increased the density within nightmare dungeons. Mob density means there's more mobs to kill, thus more XP. So that might be what they're talking about when they said they increased the speed in the like 50 plus area, because there's more mobs aka more XP later on. That might be what it is. But it takes
Also,
a decent amount of time to get there.
And some people are saying, yeah, I very lightly saw the stuff about the stash issues on characters. Whenever you load a character, you're actually loading all of their stash as well, which is one of the reasons they were talking about. Yeah, so there's an issue with characters loading, and they were saying it's a performance issue because whenever you load another character, you're actually also loading all of that character's stashes involved in that.
I didn't get that.
That has now spawned a huge amount of people that are very confused as to why that is. There's people defending the coders, saying like, you obviously don't know anything about code if you don't know why they're doing this. Other people are like, no, it's just bad code. Like, it has become this large debate.
Yeah.
Which I don't think anyone is fully capable of doing, for the record, because nobody knows why it's like that except the people that made it.
I saw
but it has been a thing.
Someone just linked it.
A lot of yelling.
Joe, who's the associate game director, who was on that stream, he tweeted he's talking about that, and so it's got some lead into it. It says, when we say they're expensive, he's talking about stash, what we mean is that they create a lot of memory overhead. When you see another player in game, you load them and their entire stash filled with all of their items. That is what teams are working diligently to improve so that we can have more ASAP. Got it. I wonder, there's no
I mean,
trading
dude,
in the
people
game.
are
So like,
still-
what's the point of loading other stash? That's a weird thing.
Game devs are still mapping inventory to eye, so like, I don't see them not like, oh, this will be fine. This will be fine. No worries.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. That being said, all of that stuff aside, I played D1. I played the D4 season 1. Sorry, patch. Went into it with like the Path of Exile mindset of new season. We're gonna have a bunch to play. I quit after 6 hours, and like I hit like maybe I think 35 or 36 on a new character. It's not what I was expecting that like Path of Exile has trained me to expect. Granted, completely different games. I fully am aware that they are vastly different titles. But it wasn't enough to like pull me back in for the same amount of time that a PoE launched is. And a lot of things, a lot of it is that the game just came out and so many people are still, experiencing or have experienced that grind so recently that I think it might have been too new, too recent. So I don't know if this is what it is for 3 months. D4 is going to be a weird thing, and the next PoE league in August will probably have its highest player count of all time, with people looking for a new ARPG. But the games are so different. Like I really do what?
Not only that, but I mean the PoE is going to be right after. I mean, XLCon is like
It's
weekend?
Saturday. Yeah, it's next Saturday.
So okay, so now that's going to just add to the hype. I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder if the PoE devs are gonna joke about any D4 stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they'll treat that.
No.
I don't know how they'll treat that.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm very
We'll see.
curious to see how that goes.
God, imagine them announcing like some kind of revamp to the new player experience at XLCon this year. Like this would be literally the perfect time for it.
Yeah.
That would steal all of the thunder. All of it. It would just suck it up like a tornado. Oh man.
If they can somehow like capture the quote unquote casual experience, right? And make that better, like they'll make so much money. It's gonna be so big.
They're just gonna say everyone gets a free stash tab or two. Just
Yeah. I mean that might be enough. I don't know. If people want more ARPGs to play, they're in a good spot. That type of game is in a great spot. I saw even Grim Dawn is getting a potential expansion or something later this year.
Really?
Yeah. So they're thinking about doing that, and Last Epoch is doing well. So ARPG fans they're eating
we
well.
know if they're still doing 1.0 this year. That's still I know there's at least one more major patch, but I don't know if it's 1.0.
I haven't looked, to be honest. I would hope so, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'll see if chat.
That game is awesome.
Yeah,
I
had a great time.
Really
with it.
looking forward to returning to that one.
Yeah, I had a great time with it. That's D4. Anything else news wise?
Chat, what we missed news wise this week.
Yeah, let us know. Zeke, anything on your side? I know Viewfinder came out. Zeke, I know you played that, so I do want to talk to you about that. Pikmin 4 came out. I don't think any of us played that. I saw Dan was playing it. Seemed like it was fun. Yeah.
Remnant 2?
Yeah, Remnant 2 came out. We'll talk about that for sure.
I'm playing a hot new game in the Cozy stream, actually.
I saw you,
Everquest.
I've been watching a little bit of it. I can relate so much to you playing that game because I do the exact same thing with a different game. I think everyone in general has a game that they always go back to, but I think specifically from like our age demographic, we all have those super fucking old games that we go back to. It's like don't have anything to play or don't want to play anything else at the moment. Let's go back to this game. And yeah, so I'm
you nailed it.
How is the Everquest going? Just as
it's
good as
lovely.
last time?
Yeah, there's a new Oakwind progression server. It just got the first expansion last Thursday.
Okay.
I've got some members from the community that I'm playing with, and we're hanging out in the evenings and drinking and reminiscing and talking about what makes old MMOs cool and what a new one would look like. And just they're very fun, relaxed streams. And what's also very interesting about it is obviously since the game is so old, it attracts a completely different audience. And it's a very different feel. a very different type of stream. So
Yeah.
especially like an hour or two in. So it's been great. Really been enjoying them.
Nice.
What do you actually do in EverQuest? Like when you fire it up, like
Hey, that's a
No,
great
I mean,
question.
is it like it-
no, I mean it's
Hey,
not wrong.
I answer that question 10 times a stream.
Sure,
I kid you not.
just-
Okay.
So the whole thing about EverQuest is
I like
progression. Like you're either in a camp pulling mobs with friends, you're either looking for a group. That's a big thing. You may be running around and doing light questing, but there's really not a lot of questing in the game. You might be sitting on your ass in commons or whatever your server zone is, just reading auction items and buying and selling things. But most of the game is spent playing whatever your character or classes role in, sitting in one place or moving around a zone, just killing enemies over and over and hanging out. It is we've talked about this a lot. It's a very chill experience. It's one of the only kind of active MMOs these days that isn't like a piano when you're playing it. You don't have to sit there like perfecting a rotation or anything like that. Like you have a very select few abilities, generally just a handful. They each have very specific uses, and you're just kind of chilling. You're just relaxing. It's a very chill experience. Unless you're playing an enchanter or something, that's a different story. And some roles are a little bit more involved than others, like if you're a puller or something like that. But yeah, it's a great way to just kind of like veg out, hang out with people, and relax.
Do you fight bosses or do raids or anything like that?
The cool thing about EverQuest is that the camps and zones generally have rare spawns, and rare spawns then have rare tables. They also have placeholders and things like that. So there's bosses, rare spawns everywhere in the game. Some roam, some stay in one place, all sorts of stuff. And they all generally drop items, especially as you get into higher level, that somebody really wants. So it's very much kind of going around the world, finding the best experience to keep your level going, or finding items that you need to make your character better, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting experience. I always enjoy watching people that have not seen that but play MMOs of like today's era go back and look at it, because they're just like, there's nothing to do. What
Yeah.
do you mean you just sit down and wait for your mana to regen while talking?
Yep.
Like, what are you doing? We got 10 things we could be doing right now. Yeah. It's
Oh yeah.
a different
It's a very
era.
different feel.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Another thing we've been talking about more and more is that, a lot of the people that grew up on these older, more kind of relaxed social MMOs are now getting older. And they're now getting to the point where they don't have a lot of time, but in some cases, they've had their careers, they have all this money, and now there's like the amount of people that have come in and are like, man, I wish there was a new one of these. I wish there was a new current day game like this. It's wild. It's like this whole genre that just doesn't exist. The only ones that even come slightly close, like Pantheon and others, have all sorts of issues associated with them. Like there's no AAA company or even AA really that's like trying to make an MMO that's like an old classic social style, like DOC, Anarchy Online, EverQuest. Like they just don't exist.
Yeah, it's such a.
So I'm trying to say is, do you own an oil platform? Because I want to talk to you. I think it's time. It is. Any Saudi oil princes out there? Yeah. Just like 50 or
Just
60
50 million. That's all you need. 50,
That's
60
all.
million,
Maybe a little more.
yeah.
Yeah.
Will they get the ROI though? I think they have to be a
Oh
fan.
no,
of
not
that.
at all.
Yeah,
No, they would just have to give me the money.
They have to
Yeah.
be a
Well, no,
fan of that
okay,
game to begin
So this is
with.
funny. We've talked about like I've joked about getting a whole bunch of money and buying the EverQuest IP. EverQuest is still making millions a year.
Really, from subs?
EverQuest 1 is still making millions a year.
Millions being single-digit
Dollars.
millions,
Dollar reduce.
or
yes, I would
tens of
assume
millions?
it's single digit
Yeah,
millions.
okay.
It's not, single digit
Yeah.
millions. I would guess mid to low single digit millions. But even then, that's incredible. It's a cash cow. You know what I mean? So it's like that still would make it so it's not something you could just go pick up the IP for, kind of thing. Like it's actively making a good amount of money. It's actively making a lot of profit. So it's there. If you were to build one, granted it'd be a lot of upfront costs, but especially these days, it'd probably make money.
Yeah. We will see what happens in the MMO space.
I know somebody in chat said it's still $1 million. That's right. You're absolutely
Still
right.
$1 million, yeah.
Still a lot of money. Yeah.
We didn't mention it, but Overwatch 2 is going to Steam. That comes off the heels of the company Activision Blizzard admitting that engagement and player investment is declining. So they're going to try to get on another platform and see if that helps.
Well, honestly, that's the only way I might play it. I mean, if it's on, but you still gotta like, even if it's on
I think
Steam,
it just
you still gotta
launches
get
a
the fucking
BattleNet
Yeah.
launcher. Like it still launches
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I really would love to have Siegel on the stream, but I feel like it might be like one of the most depressing shows we've ever done. To talk about Overwatch 2 with Siegel.
It would be a eulogy.
Oh God, it would be so dour. Yeah, like we'd have to. The show would just get all.
Good word, by the way.
Yeah.
I
We'll
think
see.
I think dour is the word of the day.
Okay. All right.
Try to use it in a sentence, chat.
Got it. The arena mode.
It's like that. You haven't seen your cousin in years, but you see him because someone's dying. You're just like, hey,
Yeah.
it's good to see you. It's been a while.
Well, to be honest,
Terrible circumstances, but
they're doing. They being the Overwatch like streaming community, most of them are playing BattleBit these days and doing quite well. Like in terms of just viewership, and
BattleBit is
people being excited
huge.
and all that stuff. So
Oh my
they
lord.
found a new home, which is cool. That's always good to see when it comes to that type of streamer. Arena mode launched for League, by the way, so that's a brand new mode. Their first in what seems like forever. So you can now play. What was that game that the vampire devs? What is that game called? V for Vampires? No, that's not the name. What's that game that came out recently?
You right?
Battle Right. What game did Battle Right make? V Rising. That's what it is. They made a game called Battle Right, and now Riot put that mode into League of Legends. Sorry, I had a brain
love that,
spasm.
yeah. No, dude, that tickled me. I love that.
Yeah.
V for vampire.
V for
Very,
Vampire.
that's dial M for murder, man. I mean, there's a precedent.
It happens. That's how it goes. And then Palia finally had their first official gameplay look. That was like an hour-long stream where they talked about everything in that game. Zero combat. You can shoot a deer with a bow, and that's it. That's all the combat that's in that game. Otherwise, it's just collecting wood and catching fish and building a house and doing all that stuff. You can cheer other people on when you fish as well, and they'll catch fish better.
Hold on. Hold on. They took all of the stuff that made me play Valheim, that kept me playing Valheim. They took all the stuff that I liked and just took it out of there, and then they left the rest of it. Like, are you serving me like you say it's a steak, but it's just the gristle of the steak? Like, I don't get it. Why would anybody play this?
Zeke, this game is gonna make so much money.
I know,
Dude,
I know.
The game,
It's going to be huge.
it is so cozy. It is so stupidly cozy. It's gonna be a game that a lot of people I think are gonna put just so many hours into. It has very interesting and intuitive social elements, tons of customization, and building freedom. Like it's gonna be a thing.
It'll be a huge deal. I think
It's gonna be a thing.
that starts the day before Baldur's Gate. I think the closed beta does for that.
Yes.
So yeah, it'll for everyone not playing Baldur's Gate, they'll probably be checking this out. And I don't know if it's coming for console. I think they're focusing on PC only. There's like an hour-long stream where they literally go through like NPC, relationship mechanics, crafting quest, multiplayer, gardening, housing customization, skills, opening thematic, all the things. If you want to learn all about the game, you can go watch that hour-long video on Palia. And invest in Palia now. It's going to make a lot of money.
If you thought Disney Dreamlight Valley was too action heavy, try this game. Try Palia.
Yeah. That's did that already launch full? I know that's coming out soon in 1.0. It's been in like this weird early access stage for a while, quote unquote early access. But it has not launched in 1.0. Says my chat. Anyways, that's enough news. Let's talk video games that we've been playing. Zeke, let's start with you. Viewfinder.
Okay.
It's out. Have you finished it? Is it done? How is Viewfinder?
I did. Viewfinder is excellent. It's one of those games that is like art as video game. You know, it's got really, really cool mechanics. but it's also like you can see how much effort and time they put into it. It's not overly lengthy. As far as like I did all of the levels and all of the challenge levels, and I found all the collectibles, and I did it in just under 10 hours.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
it's not bad, like as far as that goes, but it is me. So take that for what it, Zeke time, whatever that means to you. However, all of that, like, aside, it's a fucking excellent game. It is mind bending and mind blowing, and like the visuals and all of the stuff that you can actually do in it. It's something that after I played the demo of it, I immediately went and, like, after I finished the demo's content, I immediately went and found a speed run of it, because it's one of those, like, the only limit is kind of like your imagination. Like, within the bounds of the games, there's just so much shit you can do. And it reminds me kind of people are gonna compare it to other games that are similar, like similar feeling, like Portal, or the one that I came up with that it had a lot of similarities was Gorogoa, which was also very like art as game, puzzle game kind of a thing. But it's, if you don't know what Viewfinder is, the basic premise of Viewfinder is take picture or find picture, put picture in front of you, leave picture there, picture becomes reality. So it's like those old older Windows commercials where they would, it was Windows, right? Where they take the frame up and they go,
Yeah.
boop, and they leave it there, and then they, like, walk into it or whatever. It's a little bit like that. And the cool thing is you can take your picture and you can rotate it, in front of you, but you can also put it anywhere in 3 dimensions. So if you put it like on the ground below you, you will fall right into it, because then gravity takes hold. Once you let the picture go, then all the gravity happens. So you can put it below you or you can put it above you, and anything that has, gravity will rain down on you or fall on you or whatever.
Right.
But all of these mechanics are used to solve puzzles, and I would bet that with all the levels in the game, there are semi-intended ways, I would say, like the way that is most logical to solve a puzzle. And then there is the way that you found, which is totally awesome. I love that you can find completely 100% different from anybody else's way of solving a puzzle, because of the malleability of all of the pictures and stuff like that. And it's like there's so much stuff you can do with just like having you can make copies of pictures. So you take a picture, you put it out there, and then make another copy, make another copy. Like one of the first things I did was there's these voice logs in the game that are on gramophones, and you press them and they're like, they give you backstory, right? One of the first things I did was take a picture of it, put it next to the one, and so I took a picture of those 2. Now I have 4. Took a picture of that. Now I have 8 of them, and I just went boop 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 boop, and 8 voice logs just go like, in a time when, in a time when, in a time when, in a time, and they was like all going at the same time, and that kind of like opened my head a little bit. Like, holy shit, I can make, like, given the constraints of the game, I can do so much stuff.
Yeah,
and I love that. Like, another game that I kind of like felt that a little bit of that was Scribblenauts, where anything you can draw, it's like, what can I draw to get past this?
that game was
It's like, sure, you can draw like a giant pencil to make a bridge, or you can, draw like a rocket ship to like go over the gap, and that's this.
Yeah.
It's like, how am I going to get from here to there? What is the most logical in my brain? Do I build a bridge? Do I make it like, take a picture of it and bring it closer to me? That kind of stuff. It's wonderful. I had an absolute blast.
Great. It's out
Yeah.
now. Is Viewfinder on Game Pass?
I don't believe so.
Okay. All right. I know it's like 15.
I'm
or
gonna
20.
look right now.
I saw
Whatever it is, it's definitely a great.
It's worth it.
Like this is
Yeah.
oh yeah. It's one of the more creative game mechanics in a while, and it works so surprisingly well.
I'm excited to play it. We're doing a puzzler
it's fun.
stream where I will be playing this, and I'm sure
Yeah,
I'll do great.
it's-
I won't have any issues whatsoever. It doesn't seem
It's-
particularly difficult. It just is what can you come up with in terms of your own imagination?
Yeah, it's not it's one of those games that I really enjoyed. I wish there was more of it.
Mm.
You know, there were a couple of puzzles where I spent a little bit of time on, but nothing like other puzzle games where you get stumped for hours. You know, you're just sitting there like just fucking staring at it like
Yeah,
I'm not.
it's not like
It's
Q
not hitting
Remastered. Type
Yeah. This one is way more like, okay, that didn't work.
It's
I'm
a
just
more
going
chill
to
experience.
take a picture of this and try this.
And I'm sure Zeke,
yeah.
you talked about all the rewind stuff, which even
Yes,
just
I
factors in.
have not talked about that yet.
Oh.
That is one of the mechanics in the game that absolutely it just has to be there. And one of the things you have to do, or like it wouldn't be, I don't know if it'd be viable without it, but there is a rewind mechanic that allows you to, if you placed a picture wrong, because you can place a picture over the goal, like every level, the end goal is to get to the teleporter to go to the next level. If you put a picture over the teleporter, the game will say, you broke the exit. You're going to need to go back. So,
You broke the game and can't
you-
finish this level anymore, basically.
Exactly.
Cool.
So you can rewind back, and the cool function is if you double click, or double press, I think it's R, yeah, double tap R, it goes back to the last picture. So you don't have to like go rewind through like slowly through the entire thing. You just double tap it. It goes, okay, last picture. Okay, last picture, depending on how many you took along the way.
Very, very convenient.
Yeah.
It also
Yes,
really promotes
yes.
a lot of testing. So like if you need to angle something properly, or if you just want to see if something works, I mean, you can just like super rapid fire, like this doesn't work. Okay, RR. Let me try this. Okay, RR. And you can just kind of make it exactly how you want to very easily, which is nice. You don't have to ever worry about that.
Cool. I saw some talk about the voice acting in this not being great. Is that?
It's indie.
Yeah. Okay.
It's indie.
Expect as
Well,
such.
what?
Mhm.
Not being great. How though?
It just didn't. It just wasn't good.
It's
It's
a little
what
flat.
they were saying.
No,
Yeah.
No, like
Not
poor
bad.
quality or poor acting.
Poor acting. Poor acting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
it's a
that's- I
little-
mean,
it's a
it
little
did-
flat, but
Yeah.
it works. It's all voice.
It
acting,
honestly,
which is great.
it didn't bother me at all. I'll be honest with you, because of the chill nature of the game. Like I never felt in the game until like way late game, like end game stuff. Like I never felt rushed.
Oh, okay.
I never felt
Cool.
like there's any sort of intensity. Like the premise of the game is there is a reason for this place you're in.
Okay.
The game has explanations. This isn't just like puzzle game for puzzle's sake. You know how like Portal has the explanation of GLaDOS is testing you.
Right.
This has a similar kind of like it's not just cuz you're actually here and you find out why. And
Got
you like there's a
Is-
like a kind of a reveal or like earlier in the game, but I don't want to spoil it. But you like, oh, okay, that's why I'm doing this.
And tell me if just answer it. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Is the cat the narrator of the game, or does the cat have any sort of meaning in the game?
Yes.
Is the cat depressed? Because I looked at their social media and it comes across as like, God, I hope someone buys our game. And it was like a picture of them. Like, is that in parallel to the game?
It's a little spoilery.
Okay.
But the cat's primary function is related to the world.
Got it.
And no, I think that's just kind of
So
little
it's just
role
like a
kind of thing.
marketing Twitter.
It's a
Okay.
role play.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I saw them tweeting when the game launched, and it was like, God, I hope someone buys our game. We've been live for an hour and no one has. And then they like took a picture of their Steam thing. It said like 0 sales. I was like, what the? the fuck kind of marketing is this? What is happening right now? Do I need to go buy this game so they cheer up? Like, what's happening? But it seems like that's not the case. So, anyways, Viewfinder. I think you both give it a thumbs up. Seems like it's worthwhile to check out. Cool,
Fun.
Yeah.
cool. Okay,
Totally.
that's Viewfinder. Cool. Let's talk Remnant.
Cool.
I'll pull up some footage. How are you enjoying it? I know you kept
Loving it.
Did you re-roll yet? I don't know if we want to start there, but
I got a new class today.
okay.
I'm now multi-classed.
Just to answer your question, Viewfinder is not on Xbox Game Pass.
Okay, got it. Sorry.
There you go. Thank you. No, I'm loving Remnant. Unfortunately, I will say this publicly as if you are interested in playing Remnant, I do not recommend playing the handler class with the dog.
I don't either.
It's unfortunately it's just does not really. It's a great idea, but it doesn't quite work too well in execution. But overall, the game's a lot of fun. The environments have been great. There's tons of loot everywhere. There's apparently a lot of upgrade paths. Like I said, I just got my second class before I ended today. There's lots of little hidden secrets everywhere. There's lots of like cool story and audio logs to find. I mean, overall, I'm super, super, super enjoying it. This is Remnant 1, by the way.
I was looking at your past VODs and I saw Remnant. I was like, that's it.
But it does look a lot like Remnant 1. Basically, Remnant 2, in a lot of ways, is just taking everything that 1 is and either not changing the good parts or adding in cool extra stuff that you know really, really adds to it. So far, I've been even though some of the dialogue has been a little iffy, it's all been voice acted, which has been great.
Yeah.
The gunplay still feels good, just like it did before. Like I said, I'm just scratching the surface of the dual class system, but that's been awesome. This character is amazing. And yeah, it's been great. I'm playing on Nightmare and looking forward to continuing my run. Nightmare is difficult, but not impossible, we'll say.
I agree. Yeah.
It very much is one of those things where, especially with a couple of the boss fights, you just really have to buckle down and you have to learn every phase. You just have to learn every single phase. You have to learn the audio cues, the visual cues, and then once you've learned them, you just got to execute.
Yeah.
But it feels good because even though some of them, you know a game does that well when you do the boss fight a few times and you're like, oh my God, this is so cheap. This is like, what the hell's going on? This is impossible. And then 30 minutes later, you're still fighting that boss, but you're doing 10 times better because at this point you've actually learned every phase. You've learned what to look for, when to look for it, where to be in the arena at the certain time. When you hear the ding off, you got to roll twice. Like, it's one of those things where they start, a lot of the hardest boss fights that I've done start feeling like, oh God, this is going to be a 3-hour slog. And then like half an hour later when you win, you're like, okay, that was manageable, cool, and felt good. And that win felt good. So speaks highly of the design.
How many bosses before I ask this, how long have you played the game and how many bosses have you done?
About 6 or 7 hours.
Okay.
I would say. And I cleared the first area.
Your first area, we should say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then exactly. My first areas, they're all different. This area, which has
I've not seen this, yeah.
Yeah. And then I went to the area after that, which I think everyone goes to. I'm not entirely sure. Slight spoiler, but Labyrinth. I think everyone.
I went to the I went to the sewer.
I don't even know what the sewer is.
Okay. Maybe you go to the Labyrinth after that. I don't know.
I don't even know.
Chat, some people are saying yes. Yeah.
Well, everyone's going to go.
We should probably say like the game starts and it's unique for every person in terms of where it throws you and what you encounter because
which is really interesting because not all areas cater to all classes and not all areas are the same difficulty. Like like for instance, my first like 10 mobs I fought are air mobs and my dog couldn't even do anything about them.
Yep.
The first few bosses I fought, the dog was literally useless.
Yeah.
He would just run to the mob while the mob was doing his big PBAOE and just die instantly. So yeah, one of the reasons I probably, again, don't recommend picking the handler class to start with. It's got some good passives and may synergize well with other stuff. Or if you have a companion, or another player with you, there may be some stuff you can kind of work with there, but
yeah,
it's a little difficult.
Anyway,
TLDR game's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
I enjoyed it.
I can't wait to play more tomorrow.
I echo everything you said. If I go back, and I say if you go back. Yeah, I got the first Remnant 1, since I played at launch, that final boss left like such a bad taste in my mouth that it has defined what this game is, what this series is, this IP is, that when I got to the first boss last night, playing Handler, and I zoned in, and my dog falls through the world and then falls down below and just immediately dies, and you can't even res him. You can't use the heal that's a part. I was just kind of like, man.
Have you considered re-rolling? Have you considered re-rolling?
I enjoyed the game a lot, and so yes, I have considered re-rolling. I've thought about it, and I could also. I got close to killing the boss without having the dog help me, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And so I might just kill him and go on. That being said, this game is I don't want to spoil it in terms of what they are, but the game has fucking legit jump scares.
Does it?
The game decided that, hey, let's start JP on the path to jump scares.
Oh, dude. Oh, now I'm excited. Okay.
And so I got one, and there's a clip floating around of I was not happy when it happened. And someone said when I fight, after I finished stream last night, I was reading my Discord, and someone said, man, JP should be glad he didn't kill that boss because the level after it is terrifying. And I was like, I followed up, I was like, well, what do you mean? And he goes, there are legitimate jump scares with like horror stings happening in the level, and you would not be happy with it. So now I'm like, do I really want to continue with that shit in mind, knowing that I have to go through that? I don't know. I enjoyed the gunplay a lot, though. I enjoyed the game a lot.
Just as instinctually, do jump scares just piss you off? They just make you angry.
Yeah, because it's the initial, like I'm fine with the scared aspect, but once it happens, I start to be uneasy about it happening again. So for example, one of the jump scares was kind of environmental. And so since that jump scare happened, I never go near that type of thing in the environment. And the devs know what the fuck they're doing because they will put items in front of said environmental thing. And it's like, hey, there's an item with nothing around. You could really go get that yellow iron that you need to upgrade. Nah, motherfucker. I know better.
Do you have the clip handy?
It will. We can
dude.
watch it if you want. Yeah. Zeke, link it in Discord. And I'll show. Oh, never mind. Someone just posted it. Yeah.
Okay.
It will spoil it for those that are. Let me go over here. It will spoil it for folks.
I think it'll be worth it.
So yeah.
Well, yeah. Anytime you show a jump scare, it spoils the jump scare. But
Yeah. And I can actually pipe you guys audio this time. To be honest.
yeah, listen. We heard.
I'm not
the
gonna
intro.
lie, I love this new audio stuff.
Oh!
Oh, damn. Okay.
And I'm not going to show what happens after that because it is spoilery.
Okay. Wow.
But,
wow. All right.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy completely.
I just love that you do a very similar thing to me. You just like
Yeah, no, I got up,
Get up.
I got
I'm
up
out.
and walked away and came back like 30 seconds later. Yeah, I had to recollect myself. So
Yeah.
It's actually incredible.
yeah. I really did enjoy the game though. Like gunplay it's fun, but for me and Cohh, I don't know if you encountered how much you have encountered it thus far because I know it exists throughout the game, but the cool part of the game for me was walking into a room and not being like slapped in the face with, hey, this is a secret, but something in the room that looks a little bit more important than you would see in a normal room and thinking like, there's something going on here. And then kind of like looking around and saying like, something's up with that and going investigating with that and then saying, but something's also up with, and then solving it and getting rewarded for it. And
There's
love that.
a lot of environmental, like it's almost like environmental storytelling, except a lot of times it's environmental hinting, where it's like it won't ever kind of tell you explicitly what you need to do, or in some cases even where to go. But there's like always these fun little hints. Like they'll put an item just close enough to a ledge where you can see like the top of the color
Yeah.
it when you're looking up and you're like, I want that. How do I get up there? And that's when you start like having maybe just look a little bit closer around this room here. And yeah, it's definitely very, very cool how they do that. And there's so much of it too.
There's a
Like
ton.
there's
Yeah.
a ton of it. Which is great. This part was fun.
God, that looks like a nightmare. Yeah. Yeah. But in those type of instances, I don't know if you have the healing dog unlocked at this point. You might not be level 5 or
Oh,
whatever.
I did it towards the end of the stream.
Okay, yeah.
A lot better.
Yeah, like the dog works so well in that instance because it'll tank and it'll like heal itself, and you can kind of like send it to go fight something. And I found our ring spoilers. Should I not say what a ring does? Does that matter, Cohh?
I think it's fine.
I found a ring that I deal more damage when a mob's not targeting me. So it works with my class, with the handler class, because
that's
it
cool.
targets
Okay,
the dog.
yeah. Wow, that's great for co-op too.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And it was great. And I got to that boss and my dog just kept falling through the world and I was so tilted. It really upset me. So we'll see. We'll see. All the guns feel great. I've got a one-shot sniper rifle that is it's called the Widowmaker. It's really
How are
strong.
you finding the scrap gain in this game?
I have found enough to upgrade constantly, but some of those things are like 10,000 scrap, and it's a lot.
I am constantly out of scrap.
Yeah.
Like, constantly. Like I'm always scrap starved in this game.
It
There's always like
seems-
multiple things I want to do that I can't do.
Yeah, and I don't know if you get more scrap in higher level areas, because like I went into a dungeon or whatever they call them. I think they're dungeons. And it was like level 4. Like this area is level 5. Were you earning more scrap in this area?
Not really. Somebody
Okay.
said that it takes around level 20 until you really start seeing like a palpable increase in scrap. But I of course confirm that. And then other people are saying in chat that the devs have acknowledged that scrap is an issue.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
something to think about. Can I do another little spoiler, by the way, that's kind of fun?
Sure, yeah.
So in this area that I'm in, there is mist all around the outside that if you go into, you start vomiting all over the place and getting really slow, and I think you eventually start taking damage or something.
Okay.
Well, there's a certain part in the second larger level where you can't see it, but you can unless you have a specific skill from, I think, an explorer or an adventure class or something that highlights items, there's a corpse through the mist. So you have to go in, you start vomiting, and then you can jump over something, loot a corpse, drop down, loot an item, take it back, and it unlocks a hidden frickin' class.
Whoa. Okay.
So they're now people are like, how many of these are in the game?
Wait, so
it's
a hidden class on top of the 8 or whatever?
you get it's a class called the engineer. So I can now drop a turret, I can use it as a heavy weapon, and then I can overcharge it to not use ammo.
Is that the pet class?
It's a droppable turret. No, I think there's a summoner.
There's a summoner. Yeah. I knew that
it's
was
not
a
that.
thing.
This is the
Oh,
engineer.
Okay.
So I'm now a handler engineer. But my engineer is now the main class, so I don't have to worry about the dog. Although I think I have the dog too.
so
yeah,
you get
well-
subclasses.
Oh, you get to be 2 different classes,
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, I've not seen that
Yeah.
yet. Cool.
which is freaking cool.
And you get the
Yeah,
skills
and
of both, so you get 2 active
you
skills?
do. I think you do. I saw like an X and a C or something. I don't know if there's like a prime and subclass or if it's just dual classing. Maybe chat can help me out there. I'm not very sure.
Damn, that
to be
sounds
honest.
good. Okay. It's
I think it's dual classing, not subclassing.
Oh,
But yeah. So you don't have like a primary and a sub. I think you actually get like 2 classes you get to be.
okay. Damn, that okay.
Yeah, you do Q. You can do Q for NG and E for dog in your situation.
That,
Yep. No, you
that
can't dual
sounds
class
great.
the same class, so we can't have 2 dogs.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Since spoiler, I won't say how you solve it. I walked in. The map is really fun in this game because it won't show you that a room exists that you can go into if it's a secret room. But every once in a while, like you'll see something that you can duck under and it'll like go into it and then the map will populate with that's a room. I walked into a room yesterday and there's a chest in the center of the room and all around the room on every aspect of the wall are numbers that have been carved into it with like a knife, and you can solve the puzzle with the information that you're given. And it was fucking cool. Like that type of stuff is so fun.
And I'm sure chat barraged you with the flashlight thing, right? I know that happened to me.
Did it work? Oh, in the beginning of the game where you to get the thing, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
have you looked at the flashlight? Did you look at the flashlight? Have you looked at the flashlight? Did you know that with the flashlight you can? Okay, chat. Thank you.
So it's cool. I love all those secrets. That I saw like that there was a dev on Twitter, social media that was saying that not all of the game has been found. Like through all of the QA and everything.
That there's entire classes that haven't been found yet.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
freaking awesome.
I love that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's hugely cool.
I love that all that stuff exists. All that said, I will 100% stand by the fact that if you have the means, this game is 1000% more fun grabbing a buddy or two and playing through it without question. Because the entire time I was playing, it's like, man, I wish I had, I wish I could like tell someone to go over there and pull that mob or whatever. It seems like it's definitely a more fun with friends game. That being said, it's still fun solo. I still had a great time solo.
Oh,
it's a slower game.
I've only played it solo so far, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
It's still huge fun.
Slower process. I go through a room. I don't know if you're the same. I go through rooms slower because I'm solo. And I've watched people that are grouping and they're just like playing like it's fucking Destiny, just running through the maps full speed. So
well, you kind of get that feeling where it's like, if I miss something, one of them will see it.
Yeah.
Or something like that, you know? So, but when you're solo, it's like, it's a different experience. A very different experience.
Yeah, let me take down the spoiler tag. So that's Remnant 2. You gonna do a full playthrough?
Oh,
like a story playthrough, I guess?
I'm gonna do at least one full story playthrough. I'm doing a little bit of multiplayer. I'm actually got a sponsored look at it on Monday with Dan's Gaming. We're gonna do some multiplayer, which I think will be a lot of fun. And then after my single player playthrough, I think if Barry can get it working, we might do a co-op. But he is unfortunately one of the low single-digit people that can't open the game.
Yeah,
sucks.
Yeah,
something to look out for, unfortunately. But there are people that are getting, there's this weird virtual memory error going around that some people are getting, that you literally just can't open the game. It immediately errors out. So devs know and they're working on it, but you know, we'll see how long it takes, unfortunately.
Yeah, that sucks. The game launched like Friday, I guess, at like 6 p.m. and I knew Barry was playing it, so I pinged him and said, "Hey, how's the game?" He just sent me a screenshot back of the giant debug log.
Yeah,
shit doesn't work. So I didn't know it wasn't fixed yet. That sucks. But anyways, that's Remnant 2. If you want to play now, you do have to buy the $80 version.
Yep, until the 25th.
Till the 25th, and then it launches 25th for the $60 version. There's also like did you use the armor? Any of the pre-order armor?
I've not used any of the DLC armor.
Okay.
There's no point in playing the hardest difficulty if you're gonna use all the DLC stuff.
Yeah. There's like 3 armor sets or something like that. But yeah, that's Remnant 2. And I'm sure we'll talk about it next week a little bit more. I might go back to it.
It's not on Game Pass, is it?
I don't believe so. No, not at least not now. I don't know if it's going to be there on Tuesday.
Okay.
It is a pricier version to play at the moment. Zeke, besides Viewfinder, what else have you been playing?
Well, I picked up a game on Friday called My Friendly Neighborhood, which is...
I know this for a reason. Why do I know this? What is My Friendly Neighborhood?
That's the horror game, right?
It's Sesame Street, but dark, I guess.
Okay.
There
it is.
You play a repairman who goes to try and fix the tower, the antenna on top of a building. And guess what? You can't just go up there right away. You've got to go through some stuff to get there. And so this game, My Friendly Neighborhood, something scary is happening with everyone's favorite Saturday morning puppet show, The Friendly Neighborhood. Play as Gordon, a repairman sent to get to the bottom of this disturbing dilemma, fend off puppets, and solve puzzles in this survival horror adventure. So I played the demo of this, which I think... yes, the demo is still available on Steam if you want to check it out yourself. But I played the demo of this, and I think I put like an hour or so into it, and it was, I gotta say, it was really annoying because when you see there's puppets everywhere. The Muppets, they're legally not Muppets.
Yeah,
'cause
they're
Muppets is
they're
actually
puppets. Let's not
Legally
get,
distinct Muppets.
Yeah,
let's not get
That's right.
sued
Yeah.
here. You know.
So you when you knock down the puppets, you can either leave them knocked down or you can tape them up. Because if you come back to the room and you have not taped them up, they will be up and on their feet again, ready to attack you. If you tape them up, they stay taped up for every time you go back in that room. So if it's like a hub area that you go through, you find yourself going through a lot, probably a good idea, because tape is a very, very, very limited supply, like a very limited quantity of duct tape, because
I mean, there's only
That
so
is-
many
it's-
ducks in the world.
yeah,
It's very true.
it's
It's a
Great
problem.
point. Great point.
It's a problem.
Dude. That's a let me pound that one.
Oh,
There you go.
oh, the space.
Close enough. In the space. There's but yeah, it's the like the thing that you find in the lowest quantity is the thing you obviously need the most, or you would like to have the most, is the ability to keep the puppets permanently disabled. But it does, like, I understand why they do it like that. So you have to pick and choose like specific areas or parts. Like, I usually use it on hub areas that I'm going to be traversing a lot, or narrow hallways that I might have to come back through. Because you can avoid the puppets attacking you. But it's
I just love that the fact that you just said that, and we're all just like, yeah,
yeah.
video game. Yep.
Yeah. The annoying. Oh, that's right. I was on another tack. During the demo, there was the annoyance came from these puppets never stop talking ever. Never. Not even when they're taped
Oh
up.
god, it's like drop
Oh.
frames.
So yes, exactly.
Oof.
Unless you're talking about Path of Exile or something like that, then there's one of us will stop talking. Anyways, they, even when they're on the ground, they have voice lines, and they were really annoying. They, I think, might have cut it back a little bit because they are less noticeably annoying after after playing the demo. I
Yeah.
was really apprehensive about going back to it, but it's not as bad. Plus, if you like, there is a puppet talk slider, so you can. It has its own audio.
The
thing, so
game
you
knows.
it very much does.
Yeah.
So that's good. Okay. The gameplay of this game is very Resident Evil. In that in order to, wasn't it Resident Evil one of the games where you, like, in one of the games you had to burn the corpse or else it would come back, right? You could knock them
Yeah.
down, but
Yeah.
they wouldn't stay dead unless you like burned them or something. Similar idea with a duct tape. You knock them down, and in order to make them stay down, you duct tape them, but you don't get very much duct tape, so you got to use it wisely if you can. Also, it's the save system is a
Evil Within.
ribbon, so you have to find tokens. You have to find like My Friendly Neighborhood tokens in order to save, like the typewriter ribbon in Resident Evil.
Right.
So it's you don't get to save whenever you want, or I mean, you can't save as many times as you want, only for as many tokens as you have found, and I think there's a finite number of tokens. So I haven't had a problem having enough tokens, but just be aware that don't save every time you can. Just progress, and then save after you've done something arduous or big or whatever.
Cool.
As far as like the dying and stuff goes, like it's not like super difficult in that way where you find yourself like game overing a lot and having to restart. That doesn't happen a lot. And it's kind of a little, like, I would like it to be more, more gory, I guess, more hardcore, a little bit more like you know,
like your
when
Muppets
the
with a side of like blood. Yeah.
yeah, something like that. But like, there's no, I haven't seen like any real blood in the game. Like when they're creepy. Don't get me wrong, they're fucking creepy. But when they attack you, it's just like they go like, and they kill you without like actually doing much.
Does Five Nights at Freddy's have like a lot of blood in it? Yeah, I look at this game and I'm like, oh, they're trying to capture that audience, but
Five Nights at Freddy's is built around tenseness and jump scares, or
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff, right?
yeah.
This not as much.
Okay.
They kind of tell you, the puppets all kind of tell you when you walk into a room, they tell you where they are because they're talking, like I said, nonstop.
Got it.
So you kind of know where they are, but they do kind of put like a puppet in the middle of you and that other room. Like, see, there's one right in the middle, right? So in order to get to the pizza shop, like you kind of have like, is she gonna notice me? Is she gonna notice me? Okay. Or you could just knock her out and tape her up, which I should have done because I didn't know how much time I was going to be spending in this area.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of it is get to new area, find the area map, find the save spot, complete area by finding key to lockbox. Key to lockbox does this. Lockbox opens valve. Grab valve. Put valve here. Valve turns on water. Water does this. You know, and then that's basically how it goes. There are some like extra added things you can do in the game that are not, they're optional, where you can help certain enemies in the game. And I would
Okay.
I don't want to go any further than that, but like
Sure.
look for ways that you can like, if you find an item in the game that you're not sure, like, what the fuck is this? Go with it in the mind, like, oh, maybe this is that. Because I got this item, I was like, I have no fucking clue what this does. It doesn't relate to anything I've seen in the world. But then eventually I was like, bloop, and I'm like, oh fuck, okay.
Oh, those things can be achievements too?
Yeah. But like I haven't finished yet. I'm about 7.5 hours in. I was told that I have a couple more hours left on the run. Two or three. So I'm guessing it's like, for a normal playthrough, it's probably like 7 hours for most people.
Okay.
10 hours, 10, 11 for me.
Cool. It's my friendly neighborhood. It's a game.
Oh.
A puppet game.
I played another game.
Do what?
I played another game. Did a sponsor stream for one.
What'd you play?
Coreborn.
Oh, I think, was that this morning? Yesterday morning?
Yesterday morning.
Yeah. I've been getting up earlier, so I tune into the streams now in the
Nice.
mornings. I saw you
appreciate it.
playing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it? Like I saw
So this is
you opened up
kind
a
of interesting.
menu and it was just fucking
Oh
gargantuan.
god, big skill tree.
Yeah.
Coreborn right now is early access, and I had not heard of Coreborn, but apparently it's like an established IP. So if you've heard of Coreborn before, this is a game that's like being built around that. They've got like a fan base community that's helping them make it. Right now, it feels like an early access survival game. So I'd say right now they're finding their voice, so to speak.
Okay.
Figuring out exactly what they want the game to look like. There is a lot of building. It's a PvE game. You make a little city, but then you make a little place to build. But what's kind of cool is players can join that. You can expand it out. You can have like individual buildings inside of it, and apparently it gets to the point where it's like a tower defense thing later that you can activate on your own. So it's doing some very interesting things. Also, when you factor in the giant skill tree. But a lot of it just feels really early access right now, and a lot of it is, they're still figuring out how they want to do things and how they're gonna make things. So it's cool, but it's definitely early access. And I feel like it's kind of like a Valheim right now, maybe a little bit more rough around the edges than Valheim was. But it definitely looks like it has some serious potential.
I'll skip around here a little bit. What is your model? Is it anime-ish character type? Like
It's cartoony. It's
cartoony?
Fortnite-y. That's what people are saying.
Fortnite-y.
It's
Okay.
Fortnite-y.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of animated looking, cartoonish characters. Yeah. I don't know if that's what the base material is like or something. There may be like a reason for the aesthetic. But it's Fortnite.
Let me see if I can try to find the menu for the like skills, because it is this it? Maybe. Nope, that's just learned recipes.
The skills is like there's a ton of skills, and then like any of the circle ones have 3 perks. You get perk points that you use. Like it's pretty extensive. Like it looks, if they can actually fill out the content to keep up with the skill system.
So
looks like it could be very interesting.
you might have said I thought this was an MMO. Is it an MMO?
Not really. It's small group.
Oh,
So you're not going
okay.
to be playing with like hundreds of people. You kind of like break into like a small community shard kind of thing. But that being said, there are other people running around doing their things as well while you do. And you can join up with them, and they can join your town and stuff like that.
And
So,
it just handles that at random when they pop into your world?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like an instant based kind of thing.
Got it.
So I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked you for EverQuest. What do you do in this game?
You build
It's a
things?
survival game at heart.
Okay.
It's a survival
Okay.
game. So you're crafting stuff. There's like a loose main quest that kind of takes you down the backbone of what you can build and learning the crafting system and things like that. But it is at heart, it's a multiplayer survival game. Yeah. Survival
Same
craft.
follow-up question. Are there bosses, lead enemies, things to fight?
Not that I saw. There are things to fight, and there's a
Okay.
combat system, but I do not know. And I heard they mentioned dungeons and stuff, but I'm not really sure how much of that's in the game, and I did not get to them in the hour and a half that I played. I'm doing another sponsored stream of it later. It was like a 2-part thing. I'm actually going to try to specifically explore things I haven't done yet in that stream, if I can.
Yeah.
I may have to just keep doing what I'm doing to kind of progress down the main quest, but I kind of like to see, what else you can do in the game as well to keep it interesting.
Cool.
Like for me, especially for Valheim, like the building stuff in Valheim's awesome, but I love the exploring around and killing the bosses and having to like build your ships and stuff like that. So I'm wondering what kind of Coreborn's gimmick is to keep players in it long term.
Makes sense.
So my just last question: what
There's
did
a
they
roadmap.
use instead of this? What game did they use instead of this in the sleep study program? I'm just curious. Like,
I'm curious, a personal question, Zeke. And I don't mean this with any sarcasm or anything. Does a game have to have, for you specifically to play it, does it have to have like a directive? Because you asked me the
Yes.
same question with like when I played
no, that's-
SnowRunner.
He's talked about that in the
Absolutely.
past.
Yeah, you
He's
have.
absolutely
Yes.
talked about
No,
in the past
it's-
about sandbox games just put you to sleep, right?
Yeah.
yeah. I want a game with a through line, with some plot, some point to it. And it's a matter of preference. Like I'm
Right,
not
yeah,
like
totally.
trying to. I'm just making jokes. I'm not poo pooing anyone who likes games
and
that are
I didn't
make
think
your
so.
own story or whatever. But it's definitely like if I go into a game, I want something to like a storyline to follow. That is
Sure.
like whether it's a light storyline. Like Valheim had a very light storyline. It wasn't like quest. It was like it had a progression. It was like do this boss, go to this biome, next biome, next biome, next biome. But
Yep.
it had a like, a point to it. Like
I get it.
I had like games I like need a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I noticed that when I don't want to jump back into Diablo talk, but I noticed that when playing the new season of Diablo, Zeke, where because there wasn't a clear, like I didn't have a story to progress through, and this is a longer conversation where it's like in PoE, I discovered that I enjoyed doing the story a billion times because it's a directive to me to get through faster every single time. And I didn't have that in Diablo. And I was like, what the fuck am I playing this for? Like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And so I do have similar tendencies with that. So, yeah. Anyway.
Well, in that vein, like when just using Valheim as the example, when Valheim was like I heard it like they're getting a big update, and I was like, oh, awesome! More bosses, more enemies? Like it's the Hearth and Home update. I'm like,
yeah.
fuck that! What the fuck? Like seriously?
Give me something to kill. Give me something
God
to
damn
hunt.
it.
Yeah. I get it.
It's like no, I don't mind building. It's not the building that I mind. It's the fact that I personally can't get the enjoyment behind building some lavish castle.
Yeah.
Just cause
You build for purpose, not aesthetics. Is
exactly.
Yeah. I get that.
But that's my life too. Like I could probably have afforded like a bigger house or something like that, but like I don't need like a big house or you know a lot of room and shit. Like this what like, and this has been all my life. Like I could afford a bigger apartment, but I got the smaller one because A, it's cheaper, and B, like I don't need a lot of room. You know, like some people do.
Sure.
I don't. I like, you know, I look for function over form.
Yeah, I get it. I
Nothing wrong with that,
understand.
man.
Nothing wrong at all. The game I've honestly played the most this past week hasn't been on stream. It's been Halls of Torment. I'm done with that. I put like 15, 20 hours into Halls of Torment. And I've done everything in that. I've gotten all of it. I've done it all.
That game, dude.
That game is fucking
That game,
sick.
I feel like that game's gonna be what it's gonna be like Vampire
It's
Survivors
so
level.
good.
Like once it's done and gets 1.0 and everything, it's fantastic. I've actually debated going back to it. I'm not done with it at all.
All right. I'll play it on
It's
Tuesday.
so
guys.
good.
There we go. Awesome. Okay, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
I'm
No, for real. Like
that's my
everybody
off-stream game.
has been shouting about it, have been talking about like how great it is. I'm like, okay, is it that great? And yeah, so I'll play it. I was looking for a game to play on Tuesday, and I guess that's what I'll do.
Yeah, Halls of Torment.
Awesome.
Loving
Give it
that.
a
Cohh, I actually went back to Exoprimal. I did a
Yeah?
They contacted me for a sponsored stream. Funny enough, after our show last week, so I did it on Monday. I don't know if we talked about this, and maybe we did. I think I said something along the lines of like, yeah, Strippin kept playing and he got different mission types or something.
Yeah.
I did 2 missions and it unlocked the next like stage of the game. Why the fuck is that not the base? It's so much more fun than like first base game, the first like level that you did in the base.
Yeah.
I read afterwards on Twitter that apparently the game match makes you with the lowest level person in your party in terms of the story. And it also follows along with where the general community is within the game in terms of where it match makes you into and what's available in that.
So it's like artificially keeping people at the beginning of the game, basically, for this.
It was when I was playing, yeah. And I don't know if that's still the case now that people have progressed with it. Granted, it's still on Game Pass, so maybe it just has a constant flux of new people playing it. But like the first, and we said, we're kind of reiterating what we said last week. The first couple of missions are pretty bare bones. Like there's not much in them. You go and kill them. It's the same thing essentially. And then I unlocked the like next levels, and I fought like T-Rexes, and there was like a giant swarm of mobs that popped up, and you had to like fight these pterodactyls. There was like 100+ pterodactyls that were swarming.
Here's my question.
It was wild.
Is it good enough to keep playing it?
Is it good enough to keep playing it after that?
Yeah. Make it sound pretty cool.
I would say.
Are you gonna keep playing it?
I will not, but that's because I'm solo. If I had people to jump into with, yes. Though I don't know if it would hold my interest outside of that. Because I don't know, like, the best part of the game for me is the PvP. And I think they, like, took a step back in the PvP because the general community disliked the PvP and they just wanted to play against and hunt the dinos. And that was kind of what they think the community wants. But it being a live service game, they can kind of take it whatever direction I guess they want now at this point. So we'll see. There is like a story boss at the end of all of it that apparently is really cool, but I didn't see that. And I don't know how long it takes to get to that point. I had a couple of community members and mods that did get to that point, but I don't know how long it took them. But it's still exactly what I said last week. It's a fucking weird game. I don't know how that game came about and how it is. I'm glad that it exists, and I'm glad that people are like trying. It's not a new thing, but they're trying new IPs, right? Like they're trying to put new stuff out there instead of number game 17 or whatever you want to put there. But yeah, it was weird. I'm glad I went back into that sponsor stream because I got to see other aspects of the game.
Cool.
And then last week I finished 16. I'm done. I beat the game.
Congratulations.
I guess we got to start. Are we still want to do a spoiler cast for that? I don't even know if Max is finishing the game. I don't know where he lies with that.
You know, like
It's kind of run its course. We might have waited too long.
it kind of has, and honestly, now that you're done with it, I think I can safely say like, you know, like it's not like 7.
Yeah.
There's not
It's
like
done.
a
The
huge
game's done.
amount yeah, it's very much done. And there's like a little bit of stuff we could discuss about the ending and how it leaves some edges open, and you know, but it's not there's not a huge amount of discussion needed, I feel.
Yeah.
I don't think it could be a whole show.
I don't think so either. Yeah. Having gotten and finished it.
Oh, Max is apparently playing last night. He's just chugging along, taking his time.
Okay.
As Max does. He savors the flavor of fan.
He is. Yeah. Well, I mean, fighting games right now are in a golden
crazy.
age. Like it's
Crazy.
a crazy time for fighting games. So I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. Yeah. Finished 16. A little sad when I finished it, but also like, I'm glad. I'm good. I'm done with that.
Ready to be
game.
done. Ready
Yeah,
to be done.
Good to be done. Good to be done. And then that's
Just real quick, if we're talking about finishing games, like
yeah.
after 300 fucking hours of playing, I finally, I guess, finished Wartales.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
That game is
congrats.
fucking huge, man. It's fucking huge, and it takes so much time. Like every battle, it's turn-based, turn-based combat, so it takes just turn-based strategy. It takes a long time.
Yeah.
But I finally got all the way, like I got all of the main missions on all of the parts of the map and stuff like that. And I got it all done. And I really okay. Can we put up a spoiler tag, please? Because I really have to say something. Spoilers for Wartales.
This isn't
if you're
Wartales,
playing
but yes. Here's some Wartale spoilers with DC Dual Force footage.
Yeah,
And that's what I was going to talk about next.
Okay, sounds good. If you're playing Wartale, spoilers here. But I would just want to say, after I like finished this part of the game, I went and looked up as like end game Wartales, and they're like, nah. I'm like, wait, what? There's not like a wrap up, big conclusion, and they're like, nah. It's just you can just complete all the quests and get all the
And
recipes and do all that shit if you want. And I'm like,
You've
okay.
been sandboxed, Zeke.
oh, okay.
Yep.
There was no like, there's a running story in each land, but there's like, I thought there was going to be one like cohesive thing that touched all the lands.
Yeah.
And nope. There is one enemy. If you've gotten far enough in Wartales, which is like, I don't know, 1% of 1% of you probably watching, because it's a fucking long game. There is one enemy in one place that I looked up because I was like, this guy seems impossible. And I looked it up, and the first thing I got was, first result was like a Reddit post. Is this guy impossible? I was like, oh, good. It's not just
alone.
me.
Yeah.
So there is one enemy in the game that was fucking hard. And I spent so many hours until I found something that worked on it. And I was like, okay, I found something that works on this. I'm going to go back. And I did it. And I was like, okay, we got it done. But that guy, like it's unbelievably like hard right when you come up, because all the other fights are, pretty standard. You like, maybe you get like close to death here and there, but like, it's not like I'm playing it on the expert difficulty. That's probably also what added length to the game.
Sure.
But you get to this one place and you're just like, okay. And you like start whacking and you're like, wait. And then you look at the health bar and you're like, are you fucking joking me? This has got to be a joke. And then it just confirmed it like later on, like, is this a joke? And then you see that someone else has the same question. Is this a joke?
Did you kill it?
Yeah, I eventually found something, but
Whittled
it
it
was
down?
like
Okay.
one specific like item that, because once you like come up against something like that, I'm sure a lot of you out there are like, okay, I'm gonna try this thing. I'm gonna try bleeding. Nope. Gonna try poison. Nope. Gonna try this. Gonna try that. Gonna try the other thing. Gonna try party of this. Party of 5. I'm gonna get.
Good show.
And finally I found one thing and I was like, oh, thank God that works. And that's it. But yeah, I finished it ish. Like I still got like,
I mean,
you
it's
know,
a sandbox
I've still
game.
got quests
so,
open, I guess. But yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
That's Wartales.
Wartales.
300 hours. Done.
300 hours. Jesus Christ. That's
There you go.
a long one. That's a long one. Let me remove
What is this?
Spoiler tag. Sorry.
Yep.
There we go. This is DC Dual Force. They contacted me. Didn't even know this game existed. They sent me an email and said, hey, you want to do a sponsored stream? We saw you played Marvel Snap. This is our card game from DC. And I said, yeah, I'll check that out.
This is DC Snap.
This DC. Well, it's Snap is so much of its own card game. Like this is DC Hearthstone is really what I would say this is. And all the good ways. It's got a PvE mode, which is I think card games these days, like you have to have a PvE mode to keep people interested that don't want to deal with people playing Galactus for the 7,000th time and be frustrated. So
avoid the metas, basically.
Yeah, you can avoid the meta. And Snap is very much a game of the meta. This game, I think it does have PvP. I know it does have PvP, but in the 2 hours that I played it, I didn't play a single PvP mode. I did their PvE mode, and the way that is that once a week they're going to put out basically they're going to put out a comic. And so the comic that's in the beta right now is, this is where we're getting really in the weeds for comics. The New 52, which is a new DC initiative from a couple of years back, they did issue 1 of that. And basically you've kind of go through the comic, as it were, with all the big fights and all the heroes from that, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Green Lantern, all that stuff. And it presents it as a comic. And I really like that as a PvE mode, right? Like as a comic nerd, a superhero nerd. It's fun to play through this stuff. Presentation this isn't voice acted. I don't know if they plan to put voice acting into it at a later date. The opening of the game, the tutorial is voice acted, but none of this is, which is kind of odd. But I enjoyed the PvE aspect of it. The card game aspect of it is fun. I wasn't frustrated with any of that. You get to choose this stuff, so you get to choose a flavor of ice cream, and that gives you certain benefits.
You better pick correctly, dude.
Oh, I did. Because vanilla makes your characters invincible on your turn. And that's crazy strong because you just attack everything and don't take damage back. But yeah, it was a cool thing of like, hey, we saw you played a card game. Here's our card game. You should play that. And I said, great. I like this type of sponsored gig.
Still playing Snap?
Let's do more of this. Funny enough, I log into Snap every single day because every single day you can get your 50 free credits, and then I log out. That is what I've been doing for 3 months at this point. Logging in every day and getting my 50 credits and logging out. And that's an investment. What is the sunken cost fallacy? What is it where you like?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You put
sunken cost fallacy.
You put money into it, and you're like,
put so much into it at this
yeah.
point, you just have to keep going. You have to keep going.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And every once in a while, I get next to the cap. I didn't have the name up. That's DC Dual Force. I'll get next to the cap of 10,000, and I'll be like, yeah, let's just okay, I upgraded that card. I can get this card. Okay, great. See you tomorrow, Snap. And then I close the app and move on. So to answer your question, am I playing actively? No. I'm still booting the app, though, every single day because it takes 30 seconds to collect my 50 credits and move on. But it's also because I put, let's say, an amount of money into that game. And I would feel bad if I just quit cold turkey. So, yeah, that's that.
Sunk cost. Yep.
Sunk cost.
Yep. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar. When I used to play poker, it's like, well, I know I'm beat, but I already have $50 in the pot. So what's another $3? Like, no. Save that $3 and fold, dude. Save that $3 and fold it. If you know you're beat, just save it and fold. You're good.
Yeah. Have you
That's $3 that you didn't lose.
have either of you noticed the resurgence, talking about like spending money in games and whatnot, in the streamer world, that knife opening is all the rage again? People are back to opening boxes and
Oh yes.
CS:GO, and I'm buying. Oh, this one's 16 grand. It's a big ass. Look at this. It's.
Yep.
Can't wait till someone launches or finds a new website and we go down that whole fucking rabbit hole again sometime in the future. Because
Is it still like shitty? Like people are doing shitty things, or
no, it's just it's at the stage in case opening where that's the stream, right? Like I'm gonna drop hundreds of dollars
Oh
to
my
try
God.
to get a case.
Speaking of that's the stream.
Uh-oh.
NPC. Have
Oh
you
yeah,
seen
we
this
didn't
shit?
talk about that. That's right. Yeah.
What is it? Is it what I think it is? Is it what I think
I don't
it
know
is?
what
Is
you
it
think
just
it
like
is, but-
people paying? Is it people paying a real person to do voice lines?
Yeah.
Whatever their menu is.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
It is it's the TikTokification of live streams is what I would say.
I mean, to be fair though, ice cream's so good.
Ice cream's so good. Yum yum yum.
Yeah.
So the object is to repeat the things exactly, like say them exactly the same way every time, no matter like if you like have like the gang or the ice cream, like you have 3 gangs in a row, then you have 3 ice creams, and then you have gang again, say exactly the same, like you're a fucking robot.
The point is that you are a robot with an idle animation. It's a play. Supposedly it's a play on like AI stuff, and it's like you are an NPC in a video game, and as people give you money, you react to it the exact same way every time.
Yeah.
That's the entertainment.
People are making about $7 grand a day for 5 catchphrases is what they're saying on this article on The Guardian. Mm-hmm. So it's lucrative. That's
And they don't talk in between, right?
No, they don't ever
They
break
try
character.
not to. It's like a street performer. Like that does that does like the standing still kind of thing.
The robot,
like that's their point. The point is they're in that mode, so they're not supposed to do anything. Which is hilarious because apparently one of them, like their kid acted up while they were doing it, and she just starts going off on him in French like midway through, and then goes right back into it. And it's just kind of like, whoops.
Are you guys cool if I play a clip of it?
Go
that's
wild,
fine. Go
JP.
ahead.
Yeah.
Wow, a lot of gift for you. Flowers for me. Beautiful.
Oh, and this girl pops popcorn while she does it too.
Ice cream so good. Ice cream so good. Keeping money gun. I got your name. Wow, a lot of gift for you. Hee-haw, yes. You got me feeling like a cowgirl.
What is she writing down?
Gang, gang.
I don't know
Ice
how
cream
many
so
names.
good. Go crazy. Go crazy. Ice cream so good. Yes, 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 yes.
This must be so tiring.
It's gotta be tiring.
This is so cute.
Do this for hours?
Oh, thank you, baby. I love you. No. Ice cream so good. Oh, okay. It's not even my
So
birthday.
ridiculous. Oh my god,
It's
dude.
so absurd. Like I
It's
can't.
so absurd. Oh my god.
It's just an absurd.
Well,
thing.
dude, I mean, like
People
this
are giving
is,
them so much money.
So
Like,
much
it's-
money,
it's
yeah.
just so much money.
dude. You guys,
And now
like,
you know
I-
about
I
it, and you're not
can't
going to stop
believe-
thinking about it.
Yeah.
I can't believe any of you out there are even the smallest bit surprised or horrified.
Oh, I'm not
or
at all. Yeah.
whatever.
Oh,
no,
no,
I'm
no.
talking about people in the chat. They're like, "Oh my god, what? Like, are you serious?" Like
Yeah.
when that like mukbang shit came out, like the fucking ASMR. Like I don't get ASMR at all, and everybody's like, "Oh, sometimes it's really, really good." I'm like,
Really
"It's
therapeutic,
never
yeah.
good. It's never. It's terrible always." Are you serious?
Oh, that's funny, man.
And then I saw that and I was like, oh, of course there's that. There's going to be like,
Just the
you know,
newest
I'm
trend.
sure there's already a porno adaptations of it. Like,
Oh, funny enough, when it first
I'm
started,
sure.
it was fetishized.
Oh,
So,
really?
Like there were articles
Yeah.
going around that like this isn't good because it's fetishizing like the women that are doing it and all this kind
Oh,
of stuff.
God.
And but then that played into like a whole new discourse of, well, who cares?
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
want to do that, they can do whatever they want. And so it was it's a whole thing. But funny enough, that again, exactly what they said when ASMR started. You know, oh, now people are, they're licking the mic. You know, it's just cyclical. It's cyclical. And this is the new random internet trend. I'm sure give it a year or two, we'll get the next stage of whatever that is.
Yeah, and I'm excited.
What's funny is she wasn't doing it, but so many people are doing it as a joke. A lot of big YouTubers are doing it now too.
Yeah.
But what's really funny is a lot of them have actual idle animations.
Yeah, they'll do
so
this.
like while they're waiting, they'll be sitting there like
this thing.
And they'll just sit there just like an NPC in Skyrim, you know, and just like do their little idle animation while they're waiting for people to give them money. It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna do the
Definitely
same thing.
Interesting.
I'm gonna do one of these NPC streams, and it's going to be the lowest bid amount you give is 1, right?
I have
no clue how the monetization works. Everyone's doing it on TikTok.
Yeah,
so
it's all on TikTok. You know, that's the thing. It's not big on Twitch.
The thing you can do on TikTok is you can contribute with like these little emojis essentially, and they're worth different amounts, I think.
Yeah.
So as they contribute the money for the emoji, exactly. So you know, and it's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do an NPC stream.
Yeah, it's not on Twitch
it's going
yet.
to be
That's a good point.
1 bit, 1 bit, and the thing that I'm going to do is going to be 10 minutes long. So.
Sure.
Oh wow, ice cream's so good. So let's read this expert from.
You just read a page
King
from Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
exactly.
King and I, yeah.
Exactly what I'm going to do.
Do it.
Except I will do nothing so arduous as reading or talking. It will be like I will
stare at the camera for 10 minutes.
I think eat a sandwich will be like the thing, or just eat 1 chip at a time for 10 minutes.
Yeah. It honestly is, unless I'm mistaken, I think it's the first thing that's really taken off on TikTok when it comes to their live streams. Because for the most part that I've seen, the biggest live streams on TikTok were like people streaming the Taylor Swift Eras tour, people going to Disney and streaming their like theme park experience, and then kind of in the like 100 to 500 viewers, it was Twitch streamers just exporting out their streams to TikTok at the same time and hoping to try to grab that audience. And now these NPC streams are taking like 20, 30, 40, 50,000 viewers live. And that's the first time I've seen those streams get to that size in that multitude of streams. So TikTok's probably just like, let's fucking go. Like we finally found an audience. It's these NPC folk. Let's try to monetize them and bring them in. So we'll see.
That would be like a circle of hell for me if I was made to sit down and watch those NPC streams, because that's one of my like. Did we still say the word trigger? It's one of my hugest triggers is loud repetitive noises. And especially mouth noises.
Oh,
like
don't tune into that.
I'm just like,
yeah. You got to not tune into those streams for sure. What do we got? 10 minutes, 8 minutes. Cody, you want to talk Sea of Thieves?
Sure. Yeah. Also, I have a little bit of news.
Okay.
A little random personal news here.
What do you want?
We'll do news real quick because it's not a big deal.
News first.
I have joined an indie dev studio.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I am actually officially a producer.
Nice.
I'm meeting with them every single week. They pitched me their idea a couple months ago. I played the demo of it. I think it's something that could be absolutely amazing. And they have said that it's an established team, which was one of my like check boxes in getting back into game dev. Is I want to work with an established team who is already producing. It's a team that where some of them have veteran stuff under their belt. And it's already going along very well. They actually seeked me out, and they were like, we want to bring you in at this stage of the development because there's a lot that can change and a lot that we can add and do. This is the time to do it, and frankly, we want you to help us like make this the best it can be.
Cool.
So there's like zero information out about it yet. There's a lot of information coming, but I am very excited to see where this game is going. If done properly, I feel like this could be like a very unique, amazing, awesome experience. So, yeah, I just
cool.
Look for Cohh's new game,
Congrats.
Legends of the Raid Shadow.
Yeah. Does it have a name or is it a code name?
It has a name.
Okay.
Yes, but not that it's public yet.
Yeah. I just didn't know if, in terms of where it was at, code name or actual name. Cool. Look forward to it.
That'll be fun. Anyway, so back to important things. Sea of Thieves. I played the Monkey Island Part 1.
Any good?
Now, what is absolutely incredible about this is they have made an entire 3D version of the original Monkey Island's island. Like, you actually run around, you talk to all the same characters, even the loom guy is there. They have added like new puzzles and stuff basically to make it more Sea of Thievesy and work with those mechanics. It's a very light kind of adventure game at this point. But for Monkey Island fans, it is awesome. They got the guy that actually voices Guybrush to be Guybrush.
Huh.
And what's also super cool is there's all sorts of not only like little Easter eggs and stuff for Monkey Island, but you enter an area in full 3D and there'll be a stool in the corner. And if you go and sit on that stool, the camera rotates around and you are looking from the perspective of the 2D adventure game. And then Guybrush will come on and like say an Easter egg about that scene. And that happens like multiple times throughout it. Just like anytime you get to an area from the original game, if you think like, where would I need to be for this to look like from the game? 9 times out of 10, there's a place you can sit, and then he'll like give you a little thing about it, which is super cool. So it was,
well, I was going to say it's like a love letter to Monkey Island fans.
Yeah, it's fan service.
It's fan service. Yeah,
it's 100% Sea of Thieves fan service to Monkey Island fans.
Okay.
And it
That's
works
cool.
wonderfully. It's only the first of multiple parts.
Oh.
And it is there's no question I'm going to be day oneing this as they continue.
Yeah.
Like it was just a joy to play.
Is it free?
Yeah, it's a free update for Sea of Thieves, which
Is
I think
the
is
game
also
free
now. I want to say it's free.
I don't know
Available
anything
to solo.
about Sea
Oh,
of
it's
Thieves.
completely soloable. So
okay,
this is
cool.
in the container of what's called a tall tale, which is basically a standalone experience that you do not need to do with other people.
Oh.
And it's much more story focused, and it can be just you in your thing. It's on game. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not free, but it's on Game Pass. There we go. Game is not free, but it is on Game Pass.
Sure.
So there's that. But yeah, I had zero issues playing it solo, and it was just a joy to do. A lot of fun. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Is this the first
go.
one of these that they've done?
No, they did a Sea of Thieves for Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's right. They did that Disney.
Excuse me, a
crossover.
Tall Tale. Yeah, they did a Tall Tale for Pirates of the Caribbean. Yep.
Yeah.
And when they told me about that, they were like, now that you've done Monkey Island, you're going to do Pirates of the Caribbean? I was like, I don't know. I can't really do that without Johnny Depp. It just wouldn't feel right. And everyone in chat was like, they found someone that sounds just like him. Like, if that's what's stopping you, like, you should still give it a try. So I may give it a try at some point. Because apparently the guy that plays him is fantastic at it. So we'll see. Maybe down the road. But I will say, like, the allure of that to me, no question, was Monkey Island. And it did it great. It did what it set out to do very, very well.
Cool.
A lot of fun.
Zeke, you got anything for 2 or 3 minutes?
Yeah. I got one game that I played Vagrant Story for.
Oh, yeah.
I
this
saw
month's,
a
yeah.
tweet that said you were frustrated with it. What happened? Was that the game that you were frustrated with, or is that a different game?
I think it was probably, that sounds right for this game.
What was frustrating
Well,
about Vagrant? Super old?
Oh, no. No, that was. Yes, yeah, no. That was Vagrant Story, right? Because everything takes 2 or 3 more seconds, I believe, is what I was complaining about. Because
Might be. I don't know.
like I had trouble like separating this from the other recent game, the other Soul Reaver that I played.
Oh.
Because they're of a similar, I think they're similar era, similar kind of similar, like sort of similar look ish. But let's see. Yes, Vagrant Story is one of those older games that could be great to go back to, but the quality of life is just abysmal. Everything takes 3 to 10 extra seconds, and that idle time just adds up. I would love to see a remake with those things in mind because the mechanics and story are great. I stand by that because the patience we used to have, we don't have anymore as gamers. For a lot of things. Sometimes we can overlook it. Sometimes it's, there's certain things that old games have that we're like, okay, it's fine. It's an older game. But this was one of those games that it was just like, oh, I gotta go save. like 6 button presses just to save the game, you know? And it's just like screen. Yes. Do you accept? Okay. Save file. Here to go. And confirm. And then 10 seconds to actually save it. Because when you get the game, like I did on PS3, it emulates a PS1. So the save times are exactly as long as they were on the PS1. So it's difficult to get over that.
Yeah.
With the you know what we've become used to today.
Was it?
And I play a lot of old games, so I've got a lot of forgiveness. But this one was just too much. However, on the plus side, the game itself is like the story is good. I like the mechanic, the battle mechanic of the sphere that goes out of you to be able to attack something. So if you have like a dagger, your sphere is really small. If you have a crossbow, your sphere is really big because of the range on it. And I like that idea. And I like the idea of once you get into the battle mode, it kind of pauses and you can pick where to hit them if you're in range of their head, their body, their right arm, left arm, tail, whatever. I like that. Like that all was very, very cool. The puzzle solving, also very, very cool. I didn't mind, like you play a lot of stacky block, but I don't mind stacky block. I'm a fan, you know, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But here's a save. Am I going to save it? No, I already did. Okay, never mind.
You already did.
But it's another one of those, like, it's semi-punishing, like, on boss fights. If a boss, like, you're learning the boss and then you die, you're like, okay, go back to the save point, go back to the boss, and you have to sit through the fucking cutscene again. You're like, oh, God, like, the 4th time, it's just like, oh, motherfucker, you know? These, like, slow, like, cinematic cutscenes. You see the foot, like, step in the frame. And then you see the other thing step in the frame. And they're all, like, you know, a minute long. And you're just like, can't, like, and you can skip some of them, but not the boss ones.
No, bosses
like, there
are
are certain,
important.
like, yeah, you gotta watch that shit every time. I'm just saying, if this game got a quality of life remake, update, whatever, I would go back to it in a heartbeat because it has so much else going for it that I enjoy. Plus, I would be remiss if I didn't mention assless pants. There are a lot of characters who have assless pants in this, and it's a choice. And I don't know why that choice was made, but I'm in it. I'm all about it. That's cool. Just like you can see them cheeks. For a lot of characters, not just the main character. For a couple of different characters, you see them cheeks.
That's
and
correct.
It's very strange.
It's a wild game. Yeah. Yeah, I hope this gets some sort of remade, remastered, next one. I don't know. Now that you've played it, hopefully the curse.
Yep, the
rings
curse.
true.
That's
Hey,
right.
come on, magic. I'm hoping my magic, there's some magic left in that old hat. Like, I hope it works.
It's good. It is. I would say it's safe to say it's like a beloved game, but it is a love it or hate it game as well at the same time. It can
for
be
sure,
both,
for sure.
So,
yeah,
cool. That's it.
Cool.
That's a show. Let's do some shout outs. Let's wrap it up. I don't think we're gonna have a guest next week. We'll see. I'll let you guys know. But I don't have anyone planned at this moment. The 30th. 30th. Yeah.
Okay.
So we should be good. Let's do some shout outs. Zeke, start us off.
What up, everybody? Thank you for joining us. Big thanks to Swen from Larian Studios for joining us and answering all the Baldur's Gate questions we could throw at him in an hour. And let me say, that dude had better answers, good answers to my joke questions. I was like, I wasn't expecting like an actually useful, good answer to my stupid joke question, but he absolutely did it. So hats off to Swen for joining us. Thank you to Cohh and JP also for being the co-host every week. My name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me @Ezekiel_I on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, and Ezekiel the Third all spelled out on Instagram and TikTok. If you want to join me on Tuesday, it looks like I'm going to be finishing up the last couple of hours of My Friendly Neighborhood. If you want to see the conclusion of that puppet,
Legally distinct Muppet.
legally distinct.
Correct.
That puppet show horror thing, survival thing. I'll be doing that, and then after that, I will be checking out. Yes, I have been influenced I'll be checking out that Halls of Torment.
Halls of Torment.
It's good. It's great.
Yep.
Have fun.
You're gonna like it.
Yep. So I'll see you then if you want to come on over. Thanks for watching.
Cohh. Shoutouts.
Hi. As always, thanks to JP and Zeke for the show, and a huge shout out to Sven. Just incredible to have him on. Not only again right before the release of the game they've been working on for 6 years. It's been incredible. So yeah, huge thanks to him and everyone who submitted questions, which he answered a bunch of. Awesome. On that note, hi, I'm Cohh. I'll be on tonight for some Cozy Quest, and then tomorrow morning for more Remnant 2. We've got a lot of stuff coming up this week as we get everything ready for Baldur's Gate in 11 days. So I very much hope to see you guys here for that, or next week for all that fun stuff too. So thanks for watching and have a good one.
Hey, speaking of Baldur's Gate, did they say anything about Steam Deck?
I don't know. We
no,
should.
I don't think it was mentioned.
I'll get him back. Yeah, we should have asked him.
It would have been
Yeah.
perfect.
I'll get him back on the
We'll
show.
have to ask
next
him when he
week.
comes back. If he comes back,
Yeah, we'll ask him.
We'll ask him about it when he comes back.
Yeah, it's good. Good idea. Good idea. Hi, hello.
How could I forget that?
I don't know how we forgot it. What am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow we got a sponsored stream. We're playing some Assassin's Creed. Ubisoft sponsored us because I think they're doing a sale. I don't know what's happening. I'll talk about it tomorrow when I get the cheat sheet to tell me more about that sponsored stream. And then Tuesday, day off. Wednesday, there's no last call, so it'll be a normal stream. Thursday, I think, is Puzzler Day. So I'm going to play a bunch of puzzle games, probably Viewfinder, probably Q Remastered, probably that Mars game. And we'll do it cosplays. It's a thon reward that the community supported. So that's Thursday. Friday is the big Final Fantasy XIV Fan Fest day. So I think they're going to be showing 7.0 trailer or something. They got a keynote. We'll be watching that live. Saturday is Exile Con. That's later in the day, I think around 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll be watching that. I'm sure a lot of other creators will be as well.
Me too.
Yeah. I think if you want to join me and Gassy Mexican, they're doing like a big sponsor push for that coast. So they're getting a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm in there too. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. We'll chat. That's next Saturday. And then
Yeah, apparently this one's gonna be big, man.
Yeah.
They
got a ton,
there may be some big stuff there. Yep.
Ton of people sponsored for it.
Yeah.
So they're doing a big marketing push. We'll talk about it next Sunday. I am
Which one is that? Exoprimal?
Path of Exile.
ExileCon is Path of Exile. Yeah, it's their big, their big event. They're going to show a lot of Path of Exile 2 stuff. They'll probably talk about their new league or season. I don't know what PoE calls it. League, I think. That's in August sometime. They'll probably announce that. I think that's it. Oh, and then I'm launching merch. Cohh, did you get your merch, by the way? It said it got delivered. I didn't ask.
I did.
I got.
Yep,
I
looks
got
good.
this, and then
I got the mug, but I don't think I've gotten the blanket yet.
Yeah, blankets. I'll open
My
all that
kids
up
will
on there. And
Love
then
finding new interesting ways to rip that apart, as they have every one that they have before now.
Great, fantastic. I'll launch that probably later this week, and then we'll circle back around and do this whole drop frames thing again.
Cool.
I was just waiting for JP. Like, so the package arrived, right? So, I mean, you're not wearing it. So,
I got a mug and a blanket.
They got a mug and a
did
blanket.
you get the right size? Because I could talk to somebody if you want to wear it next time on the show.
No, he said he ordered it. That's all I was saying. And then the merch guy said that it got delivered. I didn't know if Cohh got it or not. Anyways, we're out of here. Thank you so much for watching. If you're waiting for the Sven interview, we're going to upload it immediately after I close here. And then YouTube's got to do its processing. Maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that. So look forward to that. YouTube.com/itmeJP. We're out. We'll see you next week for more drop frames. Have a good one. Bye-bye.